at a quantum level.
You said it can be anywhere and anything, and
Yeah.
then it collapses into a real object,
Into
right? Which
no,
sounds to
not
me
into
like
no,
it's
no, no.
a.
It is
Go
a
ahead.
real object. It is a real object. Just until that, just until the wave interacts with anything else, does it collapse into? Depending on, I think, like the context, we can, like, the particles that we're talking about, it can have like different scales of where the wave function can be and how it can behave. But until it's observed, until it's interacted with, the wave function does not collapse into one thing. So we cannot know, like we can never know how a behavior changes in quantum space by observing it constantly. We can only capture an image in time, which at the moment of capturing it'll collapse into what we're observing. So if you probably heard about um, the dead cat experiment, the cat is all dead and alive at the same time, and we won't know until we observe, right?
Well,
You
that's
know that,
incoherent
yeah,
on its face.
right. So the experiment goes and says, imagine a contraption which, depending on how, on what the, let's say, the spin of a particle is, um, it if it spins in one way or if it spins in the other way. If it spins in one way, the contraption will unlock a poisoning agent that kills the cat. If it spins in the other direction, it'll
Yeah, he's
not
talking about
unlock.
Schrodinger's cat.
Yeah, yeah. So
That's what he's talking
it's not meant to, it's not meant to demonstrate how these things actually behave. It's meant to demonstrate the problems of observing quantum space, right? Until we observe the spin direction, the cat is both alive and dead at the same time because both spins actually happen.
Okay,
Only at the
let's
moment,
let's
right?
let's
It's
let's let's look at
confusing. I
this.
get it. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's look at this. This is ontologically absurd and unacceptable on its face,
All right.
right?
Yeah, that's
Because
quantum physics.
to right, which is special pleading on the part of the quantum physicist that affirms these doctrines. Because with everything else, and you can best believe these are the same kind of fundamentalist scientists, anti-theist, atheist, agnostic people that demand that the Bible be logically coherent, but it's okay for their doctrine about quantum physics to not be, which is hypocritical, but I digress. So, right, if they wish to say things truthfully and demonstrate that they know what they're talking about, they must be adhering to the laws of logic. They must be coherent. Right? And if they're not, and of course what they claim to know to be true cannot be known to be true, and it can't be true if it's incoherent.
well,
Now, what you
well,
just told to me, is incoherent on its face, right? If it is
right.
alive,
So,
it's not
right.
dead. If it is dead, it's not alive. It's not both simultaneously by definition on its face, and
Coherency,
as we see in
right?
reality,
Well, right. So coherency is irrelevant here. The way that a lot of quantum
coherency is
physicists have it.
irrelevant.
Yes.
Can I interject a bit for a bit here,
Please
please?
interject because I'm struggling with this. It's very difficult
When
for
he
me to
said
talk.
no, I just wanna say one thing about what he said. He said like Bible is accepted to be, or people want it to be fully coherent. Is it because well, theists make an argument that they know everything about reality in totality, right? So they can explain everything from God. While quantum physicists would, firstly tell you of how contradictory the whole field is. They acknowledge that we know almost next to nothing about this field, and they acknowledge that the things that they do know and the theories they do have is at best incorrect or completely incoherent. They know this and they acknowledge that. Unlike a theist who claims to know everything and claims it to be correct. So I don't know why you
Okay,
just
here's the
think.
refutation of this, and then I'll move on back to Blennon. Right, I'm not the kind, and most theists don't say that. Right, there's a God, and they're not it, and the God knows everything, and not them. Right, there's that. And secondly, um, whatever your scope of knowledge you claim to have, it requires logical coherency. Whether you claim to only know this much or this little, it requires logical consistency. no matter how much knowledge you claim you have. So that's irrelevant. So Blennon.
Yes, I do think that they are logically coherent because majority of their proofs are mathematical, and math follows, like math is just applied logic, right? They do follow these laws of logic, laws of math, but when it comes to experimentations, which is what we were talking about, we're trying to actually in a physical world prove these mathematical concepts that match the reality as we know it to the best of our approximation. We can get into situations, and when you apply this mathematical proof that is like proven by these quantum physicists, it creates a reality which to
Don't
our
be too long,
senses,
please. I was interrupted earlier.
sure, which to our Newtonian senses is absurd, contradictory, but the math is there and the math proves it, which
Okay.
builds the
Math is
entire
an
thing.
alphanumerical language, yes?
No,
No, you're not
I don't know
making any
what does that
assertions
mean? What
mathematically?
does that mean? What does that mean when you say alphanumerical
Like
language?
you have to, in order to do math, you have to have logic, right? You have to have
Yeah.
language, right? And then you speak a language in order to you think about math in a language and speak it in a language, correct?
Yeah, but that's just consciousness as well.
Now, consciousness is not a language.
Consciousness is literally just language. Like
No, it's
animal,
not.
it
They're
is.
categorically different entities.
No, like
See,
the
here's all this
consciousness
ontological, categorical conflations that underlie our disagreement,
for
right? But
sure.
without getting into right the nature of consciousness, when it's very obvious what consciousness is, it's right there in the word derived from the Latin. But anyway,
Is it?
right?
I don't think it's very
We're talking
obvious.
about what things are. Like you brought us down to having to have this ontological discussion about things, right? And I'm not
Sure.
hearing a coherent distinction between concrete and abstract entities, and I'm also hearing abstract entities be fallaciously reified into concrete entities, which of course is not the case.
No, so put it like this, right?
But I'm sorry, I didn't finish. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have paused that long. You appeal to math, right? Math, saying, Gregory, look at the math equation on the whiteboard does not demonstrate to me that the math equation on the whiteboard is correlative to the concrete entity that it's supposed to be descriptive of. You can give a description, right, in any language whatsoever about a fiction, about an abstract entity. And you telling me the mathematical equation does not indicate that the object which is not concretely real is concretely real. And the point that you're supposed to be proving, I hope you understand this, that you're supposed to be demonstrating the objective concrete reality of these supposed entities, right? But telling me a language, right, speaking to me in a language does not demonstrate that the entity is concretely real unless you gave a coherent argument according to the laws of logic that necessitate the conclusion that it is concretely real, even if we can't empirically detect it. But you haven't done that. And you tried to eschew logical coherency as being a requisite to know that these doctrines are true, even though logic is vital and indispensable to knowledge about anything at all.
Right. So when these experiments are being run, they follow accordingly to the mathematical equation. The problem is that the premise of the foundation of quantum physics is that until a quantum thing is observed, it can be anything and everything, right? Or nothing at all. That is the premise of quantum physics. However, when it's observed, it follows these mathematical proofs. So one example would be the problem of black holes and their mass, and why don't they expand infinitely? The solution proposed by famous pedophile Hawking was that there's a thing called radiation. Like, yeah, I think he is, right. He was like on flight logs a lot. Anyway, that there's a Hawking radiation, which radiates away matter depending on this specific mathematical theory that he hasn't proven, but since his death, the students of his have managed to prove it. Now, to observe it, they needed to capture a picture of black hole, which is famously difficult. And if this picture of black hole shows a gradient of matter density that matches what is expected according to a Hawking radiation, which is like an application of quantum math onto real world, then this would prove Hawking radiation, and it would prove how black holes can exist within our universe. And I think
the only issue I have,
last year it was that was proven with a picture of a black hole, and that matched the expected gradient of density.
Wow.
Right. So this is a way of observing real, like of observing quantum mechanics through mathematical proof and then applying it to Newtonian spacetimes. It's a thing and a half to grasp with, but I believe I got it right.
Someone add their comment and let me continue with him.
Yeah.
Obviously, someone's trying to say something.
Well, I just don't. In general, I'll be real quick. Like the whole Hawking's and Einstein and all these guys, they get all these formulas and things from previous scientists, Russian scientists, whatever it is, and it's just that, like, so you're saying that they have telemetry data that syncs up with these black holes or some sort of something like that?
Right. So the problem was to prove Hawking radiation. If you prove Hawking radiation, that would mean that our model of understanding, our quantum-based model of understanding of black holes does not break with the rules of the universe as they currently exist as a scientific consensus, right? Because black hole was breaking it, right? Einstein had his ideas about wormholes, Einstein, Rosenthal, wormholes. Hawking was a much more conservative guy. He said, no, the mass is being shedded through a radiation, right? But the problem is that you should be able to observe that, but black holes are notoriously difficult to observe because their mass is so high that light doesn't escape it, and they're not close enough for us to observe it until very recently, right? So when we did actually observe, and when the scientists and mathematicians finished the Hawking radiation theory with a mathematical proof, so that like one on one side matches the one on the other side, so it doesn't break the laws of magic, the laws of logic and magic. And then
the laws of magic.
The laws of magic, exactly.
Word one.
It is a good bit, but when they captured a picture of black hole, the density dispersion that was predicted by Hawking radiation was proven.
Gotta wrap this up soon. I'm waiting.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Because I'm trying to get a grasp of what this doctrine is, but it seems like, at least from your position, there's just so many words to say. It's difficult to track with it all, especially as arcane that it is. But
yeah.
So at the beginning of the world, right? Because that's what we're talking about, cosmogony, right?
All right.
What was at the beginning of the world that led to the subsequent event, one after another, supposedly over billions of years, to what we have now? What was that?
No idea. We don't know.
So you just described a whole. You just described something you have no knowledge about.
No, I wasn't talking about the start of the universe. Like I said early in our talk, I said that I don't feel we don't really know what started the universe.
So what were you describing? I'm sorry. What were you describing?
That's what I want to ask a question about, if I can.
So what I was sure.
He's describing a black hole.
Is this off of the premises of the Copernican principle?
No, I mean Copernican principles. That's about like moving of celestial
bodies. It's about observations, right? So that would have to be the foundation.
No, that's not the foundation. The foundation.
So what laws were you talking about? Because you breezed past that.
Yeah, so I was talking about quantum space. We were talking about quantum physics and the way that quantum uh, uh, space-time behaves, sort of the way that we observe it, which is through math, which makes predictions about what we should expect to see when we run different experiments, and then uh, uh, mathematical proofs are then proven through various experiments or disproven, right? Um, but I don't think we're talking about the ones that are disproven. So we were talking about mostly the ones that are proven. In this context, I mentioned a Hawking radiation as a way to bridge the gap between the
What
quantum
what
and
is
the
what is
Newtonian.
what is Hawking's radiation?
Hawking's radiation is a formula or a description of a shedding of mass that the black holes do, so that they do not
And
just flow.
how he realized that it's happening?
I don't know. I don't know. He's a smart guy, other than being a
Oh,
pedophile.
really? You think like that? That he's smart guy? I think that I'm
Well,
smarter. I can put that
Okay,
in my
sure.
brain.
I don't. Sure, it's
You
possible.
think
so
that
let's not
you
digress
think
too much. Let's not digress too much. We have to finally identify, because this is a moving target after all this time. I mean,
I
really,
don't
because
think.
I'm thinking you're describing one thing, but you say the whole time you're not describing that thing. So what
No, I'm sorry if I made it, if I
I
wasn't
was
clear, but
talking about fill in the blank. Go ahead.
but do you remember when I said that like the earliest we can talk about is what we actually like saw, where the light reaches us, which is I think 300,000 years after the Bang or something like that, or 300 million years after the Big Bang. Um, right.
What is that?
The
What is
earliest.
all that?
So
I
that
mean,
would be quote unquote the
300,
early.
300
Yeah,
light years after the Big Bang. We can
300
only
million.
see, supposedly, we can't see all the way to the Big Bang, right?
Yeah.
We can only see a fraction of the way there, not even halfway there, right? Out of what,
No,
14
no, no,
billion
no,
years,
no,
22
no.
billion years, pick your number.
So I think the universe is at 14 billion years, and I think the earliest we can see is either 300 million or 150 million. Everything before that, like by our standards of
it's not
uh,
400? It's not 400 million. It's 300 or 157 millions or 278 millions.
right, but you
Go ahead
understand
and go with your
it's
number. We'll
sort
go
of
with
like
your number. Go ahead.
You don't understand that you are playing with the numbers. What is numbers, big
Well,
ones?
hang on.
You
Listen.
no, hey,
is
Let's. I mean, I agree with your
I'm at
critiques. Just
work.
let's not disrupt the flow.
Let's
Yeah,
take it as
I'm
X
at
number.
work, so I'm not Googling any of this, right? So I don't know what the precise number is, but anyway, there's this point beyond which we cannot measure things. Um, Now we have mathematical models of the start of the universe, and like the pictures that we keep taking like earlier and earlier and earlier match these models. As far as our standards of scientific proof, this is good enough to infer what we believe happened with the very early universe. However,
Okay.
even if we gain unless we gain the knowledge of God, who exists outside of our space-time, outside of our universe, we will not be able to observe what happened at the start. So that's why I wasn't ever talking about the start. I wasn't ever talking about the beginning. I don't know what happens at the start or at the beginning. I'm sorry if I didn't make that clear.
Okay. So the problem is, right, this appeal to math, which is evidently the habit of the fundamentalist scientist,
Yeah.
right? It's a misunderstanding of the nature of math. And I'm not a mathematician, but I have enough sense to realize that math is an aspect of language, right? You think about numbers, integers, right? And all these other concepts. Math is, by its ontological nature, it's purely abstract, right? We conceive of math in our mind,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it requires the laws of logic in order to think of it intelligibly. Now, math is supposed to be correspondent to the world. The world,
Mm-hmm.
the external world, the concrete particulars around us, and that which we have subsist of correlates, it corresponds to math. Math, quote unquote, works, right? But you can't sit up here and say that the math works when you haven't even first empirically detected the concrete object that you suppose happened, the concrete event that supposed happened, or the concrete object that supposedly exists. Right? You can't say that the math corresponds to the given concrete event or concrete object if you never empirically detected that event or object in the first instance, so as to then make the math equation and then demonstrate to our empirical senses that it correlates to it.
Sure, I agree. Yeah, but I wasn't talking about anything that wasn't experimentally proven. I was only talking about things that were experimentally proven. There's tons
I
of
didn't even
math
get to
that
experiment yet. I didn't get to experiment yet.
Didn't I just
Right? For
talk
instance,
about
when I
Hawking
write
radiation?
on, listen, when I write on the board 1 + 1 = 2, I can correspond that to the apples in my kitchen. I get one apple,
Yeah.
then I add another apple to the other apple, the previous apple. Now I have a group of 2 apples. I just corresponded the equation to the empirical data, right? Or when I say that my height is 5 feet, I'm not 5 foot tall. I'm like 5'9". But whatever my height is, I can then get a ruler, right?
Yep.
Stretch it up or line it up with my body or write it on the wall, right? Make sure it is flat and level and straight. Stand next to it, and now you can see what I wrote. The math that I wrote on the whiteboard corresponds to the empirical data. But you haven't done that with the cosmogenic doctrine that you're telling us about.
Well, I've only talked about things that were proven through experiments. I haven't talked about anything that wasn't proven through experiments, such as, I don't
Wait,
know.
did you say that backwards? I thought you said it the other way around last time.
So the only things that I was talking about when it comes to the nature of our universe were things that were proven through experiments. There are a lot of mathematical proofs that haven't been proved in the world, right?
Now I can hear you.
So as it concerns proving
about
by means of experimentation, we have to specify this. So as it concerns proving by means of experimentation this cosmogenic doctrine, did you prove by means of experimentation that there was this primeval atom singularity point?
No.
Because that's where it begins, right? No better place to begin than the beginning.
Sure, I agree. Yeah. But no, I
Okay,
haven't
so at the
proven that.
beginning,
That's why I didn't talk about
evidently,
that.
I don't think you affirm in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. So in the beginning, what?
For dinner for
I don't know. I can tell you my belief. I think God did create the universe, but I don't know how it manifested, how it would be, were we the observer, how we would perceive it. And I don't think it is possible for us humans to know, just because of the nature of the space-time, which is that its expansion is accelerating. So with every day, we can see less back than we could. So I don't think we will ever know, and I don't think we will ever prove what was
Well,
at
it
the
sounds
beginning.
like a whole bunch of ignorance, right? Right.
That's
I mean, you
fine,
affirm that the
yeah.
God,
I'm fine
I
with
believe
that.
the God of the Bible. If not, then we don't have to get into that right now. But
Yeah.
the reason I'm asking this question is because I'm confused. I'm trying to like identify what is the entity he's been talking about the whole entire time. I heard Planck space, I heard quantum this and that. I heard math, but like I'm not seeing a specified, consistently specified target of which you're supposedly describing. You're not describing the beginning, and then you say the God was in the beginning and caused every subsequent event.
That is based on faith, meaning no evidence. I have no evidence about that, but that is my faith, my belief that this is how it started. I'm not basing.
Don't worry about me. You don't have to like do all that with God. But so here it is again. Like I'm still struggling to understand what is the entity you've been describing, which subsequently led to the manifestation of universal gravitation attraction and the universe that we have now.
I wasn't describing any entity.
So help me out. What were you talking about?
I was talking about the things that we currently can and do measure about the nature
what are those things?
Subatomic particles, the tiniest of things that make up the reality that we interact with, right?
Okay,
all
right. So
scale.
He was totally. You're
we
totally
didn't see these objects. Wait, hang on. Let me ask this question. Actually, are these concrete entities? Yes or no?
I don't know what that means. Entities?
Okay.
That implies
All right,
like
real quick. The
consciousness to
conversation,
me.
dude, Lennon.
Yes, sir.
Conversation was about gravity, and then we
Yep.
got into this. You got into this whole big long speech of like talking about this example, and this is not what the topic's about. So
Okay.
we're gonna move it back into the realm of gravity. So
Sure.
that's what
Okay.
was being discussed. If you lost the plot, that was on you. But
Okay, I agree.
when
So
owlishness,
on me.
I'm gonna reignite the plot because of what you just lost your way. When owlishness was in here, she was asked the question about gravity working on a globe Earth, and so you chimed in and started talking about your explanation, and you went off into the weeds big time, and you didn't. Now
I
you don't have.
tried, yeah.
So we need somebody who's going to stand for or reject gravity, as it were, as the explanation is, and that's what we're on about. And if you don't have
I mean,
anything
because
to
you see
offer,
what
that's
happened.
S-
We went
I'm sorry.
layer through
I
layer
thought
through
we were
layer
moving
after trying
towards
to
that.
establish the controversy about objects staying on this ball in the cosmic vacuum, right? And we know
Sure.
historically
right.
the appeal to reconcile this glaring discrepancy is that there's this universal force that is manifest in all matter, not just the Earth, that is
Hmm.
pulling things toward the center of mass, therefore it doesn't fall off. And
Right.
underlying that theory nowadays is all this quantum physics theory.
Yeah,
He seemed to
exactly.
have lost the plot as to what we were discussing, and now he's like, "Well, I
No, but
don't."
I was, but didn't I? That was like that was the point of. I constantly try to bring it back to gravity and how it
No, you
interacts with.
didn't. No, you didn't. Now
That
you're
was the
lying.
point.
No, you
So you
did
did not
not.
do that once.
At the end of
That
everything,
was
you
the
said,
point
"Yeah,
of.
I
That was
wasn't
the
trying
point
to."
of Hawking radiation.
No, we're not gonna get into it again. No.
Okay, but that was the point of it.
What
That
we're
was my
talking
attempt.
no, you need to listen now, Blennon. What we're talking about is gravity. How does that pertain to gravity? What all the shit you just, because you didn't, at the end of what you said, it didn't pertain. So now how is it gonna? You need to, if you don't have anything, please have a seat. If you do, tie it in. I will give you that mulligan. Tie it in if it has something to pertain to gravity, and tell Gregory how it works with what everything you just said. And if you don't have a point, put yourself on mute.
And before you begin, just to thoroughly clarify, I was giving a refutation to the doctrine, and then you thought I reiterated something wrong about the primeval atom doctrine, which is part and parcel to universal Newtonian universal gravitation. Go ahead.
No, it's not. It's not. Okay, but it's. I don't
Go.
think so. I don't think the primordial situation has too much to do with proofs of gravity. Like the Newtonian physics is just an application of quantum physics on a grander scale. And if we want to measure,
So then it
right?
is relevant. They are
Yes.
related. They are integral to one another.
Okay, but the actual
I mean, that's what I'm
moment of
hearing you say
creation
to
of the
me, but then you
universe.
said no, they're not relevant.
But no, but the actual creation of the universe isn't. Like we measure things that exist now. So for example, right, we have mathematical.
Hold on.
Yes.
Because how do we have laws of physics, right, without the physics? Or how do we have the physics without the laws thereof? How are you like trying to separate them?
So Newtonian laws and laws of physics before quantum mechanics were observing simply the application of quantum world onto a grander scale,
Okay,
like
so let's go
billions
with that.
and
Just hang on.
billions,
Just
right?
you know,
Okay.
this is wow. Okay, so there's this set of laws of physics, physical laws that is Newtonian. Now you're talking about this set of laws of physics that predates Newtonian laws called quantum mechanics. Give me 3 or 4 laws of physics.
Sorry,
This nebulous category of physics that
what is
no
your
one knows about. Like what are some laws of quantum mechanics?
so just cards on the table. So a law is something that cannot be disproven within the context of this universe. So that's just what a law is. Like it is logically impossible to disprove it. It doesn't mean that like there are like you can make up laws that you cannot disprove, right? Which you cannot test in this universe. It's not a fundamental description of universe or anything. It is simply a logical application of logic onto real observations, or onto just our reality.
So in
with
your
that,
hang on. In your application of logic, as you talk to us about this,
yeah,
what are you going to be saying? What are you going to tell us? Gregory, I'm talking to you about quantum mechanics.
yes.
Quantum mechanics, fill in the blank.
Quantum mechanics is a study of quantum of behavior of waveforms on
You lost
a
the plot.
quantum.
You lost the plot.
So one of the examples that, like, through quantum physics, we've predicted there should be an existence of a gravitational wave. And this is simply sort of an echo of gravity as
Christ.
different objects in universe interact. We don't have precise tools. Hold on. We don't have precise tools to measure the gravitational waves of everyday things. But the quantum prediction is
All right.
everything
Just
generates quantum waves. Didn't finish.
he just outlined it.
We did.
I don't give
Didn't
a shit.
finish.
You just outlined it. Sorry. Time up. He just outlined it. You can't prove it with everyday things. He just said it. We don't need predictions. We need scientific evidence that it exists in reality. And you just outlined that you can't do that with everyday things. You're screwed.
I
We don't need to
want
hear
to
it.
add,
But
like,
but but
listen.
that's the thing though. That's what Gregory, the whole point of you presenting your side is so that we can get to a place where it either is interacting with real things or not. And by the sounds of it, you just admitted it, we do not. I don't want to hear 10 more minutes of your shit. You
He
can't,
disprove it though.
can't provide evidence that you're interacting with things here in the physical and natural world. Then why are you talking? Next
Ismail
person.
has
I'd
proved
like to
it.
pick up with
Yeah,
someone else,
I,
but let me just say this before we begin, before you continue
All right.
forward. I have to say this. The reason we went through all that, as irritating as it may be to some, is because evidently there is a pattern. There's a pattern of a habit between fundamentalist scientists, especially nowadays, after the 20th century, here in the early decades of the 21st century, to fly to the appeal to quantum mechanics and their justification about universal gravitation law and just the laws of physics of the world in general. I mean, this is what they repeatedly appeal to, so I guess we have to be bothered with this appeal, as arcane and unfamiliar as it is. If that's their appeal, then we got to address it. That's why we went through all that. Go ahead.
Yeah, but the rigmarole that he went through still did not come up to the coherent understanding that we can interact with gravitational fields or gravity in any meaningful way so somebody can quantify that and interact with. Therefore, he had nothing to offer at the end of all of that.
I mean, very frequently, I don't
I,
hear a coherent and cogent sequential explanation of this quantum mechanics. It's just this nebulous cloud of words that sound profound and sound like it's knowledge, but upon examination does not really stand up to knowledge in remotely. So let's go back. Let's go back. We're
can
talking
I?
about justifying the appeal to universal gravitation, whichever theory. I'm only aware of two so far: Newtonian / Cavendish or Einsteinian, right? Because this is the 24/7 flat Earth voice channel, right? We're trying to talk about, right, the surface of the Earth and other, which is integral and part and parcel to other laws of physics and the behavior of things in the world. Okay, we were talking to Owlishness. She was talking AI, not AI. Ollie was giving a scrutinizing question to the globalists, right? How do you have this water flowing northward, right? Because water flowing descends in altitude to the lowest, right, point, finding equilibrium. How does it flow northward to Egypt on a ball, especially with a 23.4 axial tilt from 90 degrees, right? And then the appeal is to gravity, and then I had to attack gravity. And then gravity is part and parcel to this primeval atom doctrine of the expansion / explosion, whichever term you want to use, where gravity was first manifest and manifest throughout the entirety of the history of concrete particulars up to the present time, so that everything coalesced into what it is now. What globalist wants to talk about that right now?
Yeah, but why don't they address buoyancy and density? That's what gravity actually is. It's just buoyancy and density.
Yeah, but yeah,
Electromobility.
there's rhetoric that they have that goes along with their story of the globe. So in order for us to have a position for them, we can't. Right now, currently, there's a lot of us here who have that understanding of the rhetoric, but we have to allow them to go ahead and make the case. If there is no
Question.
if there is no case like the gentleman Blennon was saying, then you can't interact with it in any way with the physical and natural world. Then they're bankrupt. They don't have a position, which is right now we want to hear and let other people hear those discussions so they can find out for themselves. There is no way that this idea of gravity, whichever Newtonian or Einsteinian, exists in the physical and natural world. But we have to let it progress to that. If we kind of put parameters around what they can say, then they won't be able to explain, and then us be able to retort. But so right now, well, all it is show me the evidence for gravity. That's what it is. We're just telling them that scientific evidence for gravity. Go ahead, guys.
I want to say something about logic. He spoke about Hawking's radiation and the black holes, and that is scientifically proven, and that's the logic. The things what we can never ever proved, it's scientifically proven and obvious. It's factual logic. But the logic about gas pressure that we can demonstrate that it's that you can have gas pressure only in container, and we can demonstrate that is not scientific proof, for example. Then you have other things, for example, logic about math. When you use math in the space, it's working, but when you use math on the air, that simple math, geometry, it doesn't work. And it's not that simple math like a space math. Then you have another things. People will tell you you cannot trust your senses. But how Hawkins trusts his senses when he made observation? How Einstein trusted his senses when he made the math? How other people made their senses when they made all these quantum mechanics? Without senses or with the senses?
Thank you, Sasha. So
Yeah,
back
I gotta
back.
concur with that.
So we're on
So
another point. Scientific evidence for gravity. Anybody can open up their mic as far as if you're believe the
yes,
Earth.
I linked it already in the side chat. Can I ask for the empirical evidence of the shape of our
No,
Earth from
no,
your side?
no. You're not going to detract or derail or obfuscate or use this chat for your own
So you
personal
have none.
use.
Got it.
You're going to answer the question that's on the table currently, which is there any scientific evidence for gravity? And if you did post something, then you need to now open up your mic and talk about it, please. Thank you.
Yes, it's posted in side chat. You can read it.
Now
Thank you
go
very
ahead.
much.
No, we're not gonna take your you can read. No, you're gonna talk about it. That's what we're here to do. We want everybody to listen to your mouth say how you're gonna talk about how gravity is in
Sure.
existence.
I would love to give my empirical evidence, and I want to compare it next to your empirical evidence. Can you also supply me some? I will do it at the same
I'm
time.
not going to engage you until you present what we're
So you
asking.
have none.
You
Got
can
it.
sit on
Thank you.
mute. It's up to you, sir. You can sit on mute. Either
Well,
contribute or not.
I would love to have the conversation
Go
with the
ahead and
empirical
have it,
evidence I
sir.
have,
Then
but I would
have it.
like to compare it to your empirical evidence first. Sounds about fair, no?
Once again,
Empirical,
bring,
empirical
bring,
for
bring
what?
the evidence. Bring the evidence. We don't need to hear your feelings like Hitman.
Was that Hitman
He'll get,
Guppy?
he'll get it. He'll get unmuted. I'm not gonna leave him on mute, but I just want him muted for a second. If anybody does have that evidence, please bring it forward. Unmute your mic and talk about it.
Is that who was talking, Mickey? Was that Hitman Guppy?
Yeah, he does this all. He's known for this. But honestly, like I do want to listen to him if he's gonna present something. I don't want him to be acting like he's controlling the conversation. He's not. This isn't his room. We're asking the questions. We just want simple answers. If you got them, if you don't, that's fine. So go ahead and open up your mic, guys, and answer the question. Is there any scientific evidence for gravity?
Well, there can be northern and southern wind cycles on a flat Earth model.
Yeah, currently right now the
Gravitational
question.
force.
Yeah, I'm sorry, sir, but currently right now the question is to the globalist mindset. So if you are somebody who thinks that or knows the Earth is flat and stationary, we're not speaking to anybody currently right now. We're asking them because right now we're putting the globe to the test. So, in order for us to do that, we need to ask the room, does anybody have scientific evidence of gravity? Please open up your mic if you do.
I kind of digressed
I just
from
want to
the
I
earlier.
want to say one thing. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Gregory, but I want to say something about what they're posting in the chat. If you go to the little
Mhm.
open chat on the box here, and they post all these things and these like cartoons, like these Jenna posted something, and then this other guy, Red Boniparis, like this is all just like cartoon, like it doesn't feel real to me. That's all I wanted to say. It just feels like
Thank you, Coyle.
some guy.
Thank you, Coyle. Thank you, Coyle. Go ahead, Greg.
Um, Miggy and I were, more than anyone else, were just kind of desperate to complete the earlier line of dialogue that we began, because Blennon picked up where Alice left off to go eat our lunch, and we got lost in what I don't mean to be that guy, but look, I mean, it manifestly was word salad, and especially when it repeatedly was concluded with the fact that he wasn't talking about the beginning, right? And you can't have subsequent events without the beginning. So of course, if you don't establish the beginning, then you can't establish that your paradigm is coherent with any supposed subsequent events after the beginning. I mean, my God. But then even with those nebulous, unspecified subsequent events after the beginning, again, there's no knowledge about it, and we can't know about it, and we can't know about ordinary means. So, making all these predications about them, not knowing what it is in specific, and explicitly conceding that they do not and or cannot know anything about it. That's what we got. So we just want to finish this line of dialogue as it concerns justifying the appeal to this Newtonian and or Einsteinian gravitational law theory. I mean, surely, we are so woefully mistaken, and there are such knowledgeable globalists in here, right? Please justify it, especially after 100 years or 500 years.
Yeah, and by justifying it, don't say, I dropped the wiki in the link. Now let me talk about what I want to talk about. We're going to open up a dialogue with you who are proposing you have an answer and hear from your lips what and how you know it's been demonstrated to be true in reality that gravity does exist and is acting upon the physical natural world. There you have it. Any brave souls out there? I'd be just like you. I wouldn't touch this with a 10-foot pole, but hey, we got to ask the question because you guys seem to think that you know what you're talking about. So, floor is
And
yours.
there's a phenomenon with human psychology. It's much more difficult to attack an open-ended question than it is a closed-ended question. So that's why I teed it up earlier the way I said it earlier when I was talking to Owlishness. I said, so you specify which gravitation theory you're going with. Okay, Newtonian. Okay, fine. So as it concerns Newtonian, right, mass attracting mass, right? So, I mean, unless you really want to do that, somehow divorce this supposed law of physics from the beginning of the history of the physics, right? The physika, the things, the concrete entities. That's just incoherent, right? Because you just have this universe with no laws, and all of a sudden laws became manifest. Well, of course, it's ontologically absurd. You don't get order from disorder, right? You don't get laws of physics from a world that is devoid of law-like behavioral tendencies. Okay, so I hope you don't go with that because I just refuted it. So this universal gravitation, right? And the fundamentalist scientists of the world acknowledge this, right? You have this universal gravitation. If it's too close, everything collapses into a humongous clump. We don't live in that world, so that's a false implication. And if it's too far away, right, then it all disintegrates. Every particular irreducibly complex component of matter all disintegrates and disconnects from every other, right? And therefore everything disintegrates. We don't live in that world either, so that's another false implication. That which implies falsehood is false. Therefore, the doctrine is absurd, given that it implies absurdities. Right.
What
Now,
causes volcanoes on flat Earth? What
that's
causes
a
like
wonderful
volcanoes
mystery.
and earthquakes?
What causes volcanoes on the globe Earth?
Just about to ask the same thing, Sasha.
From convection currents moving plate tectonics.
Tectonics
And,
Wait, did you
in
just say
Finland,
plates? Did
All
you
right,
just
so
say
Wait,
plate
yeah,
tectonics?
hold on.
Okay.
How we get? Wait a minute. I'm lost. How the fuck did we get to volcanoes?
because he
Well,
doesn't know the answer.
how do you
But
have that
he
on
doesn't.
flat
Hang
Earth?
on, sir. 1 second. Relax, bro.
Because he's
So
coping.
he doesn't know the answer. So we're gonna take your guy's concession because this guy, we're gonna go to listen. We'll indulge this, but we have to have a concession that there's nobody right now that can answer the question: how can you scientifically prove gravity? So I'll take that
Yeah.
concession, sir. If you
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
talk
yeah,
about
yeah, yeah.
volcanoes, but concede that you don't know how that is.
Yeah, I don't think gravity exists. I'm a hollow earther.
Okay, well you're not gonna be much for talk then. You
Okay,
might as
well,
well
we're
put
not
yourself
talking
on
about
mute.
that yet.
You just sabotage your own argument. You might as well sit on mute because
I
I'm not
never
gonna.
made this argument. I just joined here.
Yeah, but we're not gonna. You're a
Okay.
hollow earther. You're a hollow earther. We're looking for a globalist guy. You're not a
Yeah,
globalist.
hollow
We
earthers.
were talking about something else before you came in.
No, we're not gonna
Bro,
talk about hollow earth. There's no way. You're gonna be
you know,
saying. You're gonna be saying from the
Like Carl.
paradigm that hollow earth proves volcanoes. We're not gonna listen to your shit. We want to talk to people who think the earth is a globe. And if you don't have the answer for gravity, that's fine. But we're not going to talk about no fucking hollow earth, dude. You're out of your damn mind. No.
But
Ab-
can you actually like gatekeep and kind of dictate like I don't know.
oh, feelings. Are we talking about feelings now? Oh.
Let people talk about.
So
I've been
bad.
in Hollow Earth for the
Oh.
last.
Oh.
I've been in Hollow Earth for the last like 20 years, like since
Wait, what?
2003. Like,
So what
why
is
can't I
Hollow
talk
Earth? I've
about
never
Hollow
heard of this.
Earth? Yeah.
All right.
Can you explain it to me so I understand? I can
Hell
accept it.
no. Hell no. We're going to talk about no fucking hollow earth. What's wrong with you? Explain it to me. No, we're not going to talk about fucking hollow earth. No.
What's wrong
Listen.
with
Nah, I
Hollow
want to
Earth?
see. I want to. I want to
this is
understand the
not
concept so I
24/7 Hollow
can
Earth
think about it
at
I think
my
we're
all.
just
own way.
determined to annoy some folks in here. We weren't
You guys
talking
aren't
about
talking
hollow
about
earth. We
flat
were
Earth
talking about
either, so
gravity.
why not Hollow Earth?
We were talking about
Why are you so
gravity. You don't have the
close-minded,
right to
Greg?
just come into the VC and just ram us, just snatch us by the throat and talk about some other subject.
Yep. Nope. Not going to happen. You guys need to get
What's
on
the matter
board
with
here,
you?
man. You already know you're in 24/7 Flat Earth channel. Come on, guys. Let's get with it.
All right, what are we
It
talking
doesn't
about?
take a genius to know that we're actually asking the questions. All you got to do is answer if you know the answer. If you're not, then we'll move off to the next subject. But so far, gravity hasn't been explained scientifically. That's
Like
fine.
that whole thing that just happened, it was just a humongous disruption to what I was trying to do was be helpful to them, to help them give a response about this critique. Like I just said earlier, I teed it up for them. Right, here's my refutation of this doctrine. Now, of course, people usually are provoked to respond to some sort of attack against their belief rather than just a general open-ended question about it.
Mm-hmm.
You think Gregory, somebody of them was listening to you?
Yeah, they don't want to answer the question. They're too afraid. They know the implications because they know gravity does not have any way that they can get it relative to our physical natural world. So they have to go to hollow
I
earth.
just got abruptly disconnected.
That's the reason why they're doing that. They're using these tactics because they don't want to talk about the obvious, that they can't provide any evidence for the Earth being a globe with gravity, scientifically even, and that was
Man,
offered to them.
it's obfuscation. That's what they do. It's
Yeah.
anything. Yeah, it's just a big game of obfuscation.
I mean,
Well,
we would not have come to this idea about universal gravitation if humans were in the habit of wandering into hypothetical after hypothetical and masturbating their pride, and also being incredulous to people who seem smarter than them, but upon examination aren't really giving any knowledge whatsoever. So we don't observe this supposed universal gravitation. Like we don't walk around in the world and just see mass being attracted to mass.
Nope.
It's not what we see. We don't see we don't see all the mass that is within proximity of several miles, 10 miles, 100 miles, 1,000 miles of the Earth just being rammed and pulled down to the surface of the Earth trying to get to the center. We don't observe that.
let me just clarify a point too for the rest of the group. We're not here to talk about donut Earth, toilet Earth, concave, hollow Earth, matrix Earth, fucking whatever other Earth you want to talk about. Specifically, we want to know how the globe Earth, which is what everybody's being told in academia, is real. Comprende? We're not talking about any other fucking Earth, and don't talk about that shit when you're in here, because you're gonna get fucking muted. So it's just that simple. We don't want to hear your shit about another Earth. The only thing we want to hear is you telling us how globe Earth is for real and how gravity is for real and Coriol, whatever. But that's we're on about globe. Okay, guys? Do you guys get it now? That's it. That's
I
all.
hope you do.
I hope you do. I really do. All right. Maybe we can start fresh. Who do we have muted in here? We can unmute some guys.
I'm not muted.
Okay. Now that you guys know, let's go ahead and answer some questions. Scientific evidence for gravity, and if not, let's move forward to something else.
Can I ask you
A sound
questions?
argument in defense of the doctrine of gravity. Go ahead.
Sure.
Can I ask you questions? How do you propose a flat Earth model would work?
They don't.
That's not a good start. I'm not going to be so hard as Miggy is, but I'm going to tell you now before he sinks his teeth in you. You're supposed to be giving it an answer to our question.
Yeah,
Well,
they don't
why?
give answers. They only do refutations.
Okay.
Miggy, do you
Why
Miggy,
don't
do you
you give
understand?
answers?
Guys,
Miggy, do you
once
understand?
again, let's not talk about feelings, okay? The only thing that we're concerned with here is the truth. So if you have none, sit down and shut up, okay? If you do have
Just
some,
want to
please
ask
open up
questions.
your mic. Please open up your mic and talk to us if you got some. If you don't, sit down, okay?
Yep.
Miggy,
Don't ask
Why
Miggy, the
questions.
can't
problem,
why can't
Miggy,
I
the
Not
ask
a
problem
place,
is
questions?
not a place of truth. You can't ask questions.
Yeah, no,
just
you
Why
can
can't
ask
I?
questions. I didn't say you couldn't ask questions, but keep them relevant to the what we're in here about. So let me just once again, because you guys lose the plot, like you guys have the fucking mind of a goldfish, okay? You lose the fucking plot. So when you come into this room, we want to know how the fuck the Earth is a globe, which means you gotta support that claim with guess what? Evidence. Oh my God.
Was I making
How
that
can we
claim?
ask that? Okay, so now that everybody
I just
understands,
want to know how the Earth would
all right,
work if
dude,
it
are
was
you
flat.
gonna shut the fuck up so I can finish, so you can understand? Otherwise, you're gonna be lost, sir. So the thing that we're asking for right now is pretty simple. We're asking you guys, how is the Earth a globe? Okay, number one, how have we ever measured curvature? Number two, axial rotation. Provide that evidence for that. Number three, gas pressure without a container. These are the pertinent questions that we're asking you lot, and we need some answers. So, and also gravity, because that was another thing that we're asking, but that's derivative. We want to know, first of all and foremost, how is the Earth a globe? So I know we're going to answer your questions about the Earth, flat Earth, and all that. We'll get to that. But we want to know how it's been demonstrated to be true that the Earth is a globe. Even if it sounds redundant to you, I don't care. That we're asking a question. Please
I
provide some
don't have
evidence.
answers to those questions.
Please provide some evidence. Go ahead,
I
sirs.
don't have answers to those questions.
Okay, then we'll wait. We'll await somebody who does. So
Well,
put
can
your
I ask you questions in the meantime then?
no, because
Why
you
not?
don't want to. You don't want to look at the fact that you don't want to answer. You don't want to answer the question. So you're just saying, no, I'm not going to answer those. I want you to answer.
You are the one making the claim that all
why you don't
scientific
know?
knowledge we have
Why you
up to
don't
this
know?
point is
Why you
incorrect.
don't
You
know?
should have to
Why you don't
support
know?
your claim with evidence.
Again,
Yeah, you're
why
obviously
you don't?
determined to press your words through his voice because you're annoyed that people don't dare believe the dogmas of fundamentalist scientism. You responded to our question with a question which is not indicative of being critically considerate and self-scrutinizing in a debate and being a good faith
You are
interlocutor.
making
So
the claim.
therefore, we
You are
scold
making
you.
the claim.
We want to talk to
You are
someone who
making
wants
the
to
claim.
answer our question. The present question.
He wanted to talk to you, Gregory. Here's the thing, guys. Get with the program. Now, the only reason why I'm raising my voice because I'm passionate about this. I want you guys to realize the reason why we're here is because everybody keeps talking about how the Earth is a globe and how there's curvature and how the Earth is spinning and all these other things. Now, we want to know where is the evidence for all of those claims. Now, if you don't have the evidence for those claims, we have to start there. Isn't that amazing that there's no evidence for those claims? And we're asking you guys. So please, let's stay on topic. That's all we're asking for.
So
Go
once
ahead.
again, what is the sound argument in defense of the doctrine of universal gravitation, Newtonian, Einsteinian, or whatever the hell else? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll unmute the guys. Whoever was
So
muted.
what's scientific evidence? Can you give me a definition of that?
Why are you asking him? The question is to you, my sir. It's
Because
to you.
you created that
To
bar,
you.
right? So
To
I need to know
you.
what that bar is.
What do you mean the bar? Okay, so first of all, do you know what scientific evidence is? Yes or no?
I don't think I do. Your definition is
So
proprietary.
that's a fundamental error now. Then for you to go down this logic path, we're going to be talking to somebody who has no knowledge of that. So now I guess we need to talk about what that means, right?
I don't know. You just need to give me the
Oh
bar, and I could
God.
probably give it to you.
It's in your court. 'Cause
Oxford Dictionary.
if you think the globe was scientifically proven, you could show the scientific evidence for that proof.
We're using different definitions of
No,
scientific.
This is why I
truths.
don't use the
No,
word
we're
scientific. Right here, right here. This is why I don't use the word scientific. It's really nebulous and vague, right?
And so, Gregory, what's the definition of a sound argument? Because I can give you a sound argument, but you just won't accept it, right?
you
Because
just
you're
already.
dogmatically
How do you
against it.
define it?
Okay, listen,
How are you
listen,
defining his
listen.
thoughts, sir? How are you defining his thoughts? How do you know what he's going to retort? You didn't even
That's
give him.
yeah, that's fallacious. That's appeal to motive. That's a fallacy. It's a formal logical fallacy.
Okay.
It's possible to predict people's actions based on their prior actions.
Yeah, but still, it doesn't
we've
mean
observed
that
Gregory
he's
for
going
a
to
while.
answer. It doesn't mean he's going to answer the same to this gentleman. He's not. That's you're painting him into a category where he's only going to answer him a certain way. He could answer him differently, and you wouldn't know that because
Yeah,
you're
rather
just.
than anticipating what I am,
he can either answer the question that
rather
he's been
than
asking for in the
anticipating
same
what I
way,
am.
or he can be a
No,
hypocrite.
no, not what you're saying. Just shut up. This is stupid. Not anticipate the kind of interlocutor I'm going to be. Just engage me as I am, as I've demonstrated. Period.
See,
So
it's another problem.
moving on from that stupid digression,
Yeah, I
it's
think you're
very
intellectually
simple.
dishonest
Since
and
you're asking me,
vehemently
whoever is
terrible
asking
interlocutor,
me
to be honest.
what I mean, just listen. There's no point in talking to this right now.
Okay.
It's very simple. You're
Sounds good.
supposed to be giving a sound argument.
What
You're
is
supposed to
that?
be demonstrating that you know that there is this supposed law manifest in the physics, in the concrete entities of the world, supposedly universal gravitation law. What is the argument?
How do you define a sound argument?
Oh my God.
Okay, so let's
You
entertain
put
this
that on.
because supposedly they have knowledge, but they are determined to scrutinize the person scrutinizing them or play as though they don't know what the laws of logic are so as to justify and evaluate any argument, right? So a sound argument, true premises, right? And they're logically sequitur with one another. Now, as
What
it
is
concerns this empirical knowledge claim, you should be making an inductive argument, right? Your
what is
appeal
something
to
that is
empirical
true?
data, right? Your appeal to factually empirical knowledge claims, right, in a logically sequitur argument to demonstrate the truthfulness of your conclusion.
What is
Right?
something that
So
is
whatever
true?
kind of
You
argument
have
you
to
want to
answer this
use,
for me.
not to
Truth
give you an
rhymes with
entire course,
proof.
just stop talking to me. When you talk to me, you make this longer.
I
Bro,
don't.
you
I shouldn't
go
have
for
to
like
explain that
10
to people
minutes,
who know
bro.
so much.
You need to tell me what truth is
You
and what
need
you
to
mean
stop
by
talking to
something
me
that is
because
true.
you're asking me this rudimentary question,
Yeah,
right?
I have to appeal
As
to your
though you don't know what the
heuristic
laws of
because you have a
logic are,
different
and
one
you're
than
still
I
talking
do.
to me, which demonstrates you don't really want to have a dialogue.
Hold
Yet
on, Greg.
again,
Hold on, Greg. Go ahead. He's muted. He'll sit and listen this time.
This guy is a princess.
you people are ridiculous. I swear for Lord.
Yeah.
You're just sitting up here asking me how do you evaluate a sound argument, just determined to try and scrutinize me rather than receive scrutiny. You people don't have the right to sit in a seat of scorn and refuse scrutiny to be given to you. You must pass scrutiny, especially when you claim to know so much and know so well, period. So when I ask you, what is your sound argument for this doctrine, you're supposed to be giving me a series of premises, preferably true premises, and they logically comport with one another so as to demonstrate the strength of your conclusion and or necessarily indicate your conclusion. Go ahead.
All right. Let me unmute him. Go ahead, Zeno. You can talk now, Zeno.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are just dishonest, so I don't really know how to engage with you.
Mute
It's
him.
impossible.
Mute him.
Yeah,
Yeah, all
go
right.
ahead. I think that's a concession. It's okay.
You chose the path, dude. You don't
I'll
have
take it
to
as a
do that.
concession.
Here,
It's fine.
let me see if I can
Like, you
get
concede
Zeno.
to the fact that you guys are dishonest.
Let's see if I can crack the code with Zeno. Okay, if you think someone's dishonest, do you A, ask them more questions,
No.
or B,
I just show that they're
use-
dishonest.
Okay, you're not
But
going to
yeah,
be able to do that by asking them any questions.
I think
'Cause
I've proven it right now. You
as
guys are
soon as
pretty
you ask a
like
question,
You are wasting your
vociferously
time, Crit.
you
terrible at
logically
making
Kind of like what you
arguments
said to
because
me
I can't
earlier.
even
You're
ask you
wasting
to
your
I was
time.
prove
just
me.
gonna
Mute
say
him.
that, Gregory.
I'll take it as a
You,
concession.
Chris,
That's all.
really
I'll
good.
take it as a concession. That's
You
fine.
logically
Get
contradict
out of here. Run
yourself.
away. Mute me. It's good. Run away.
You take anything you want. Because
Yeah,
obviously
cool.
you don't care about fact. Mute him.
Yeah, I'll take it as a concession. See you.
That's not
Mute him. Why is he still talking? I still hear his voice. That is flagrantly the pot calling the kettle black. Fuck that.
Yeah, he didn't want to hear anything because it's like a petulant child plugging their ears and going la 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 la. I can't hear you after he says whatever he wants to. No, we're not gonna do it that way.
Yeah, I
It's like
heard you, Gregory. It's like the when I was telling you with what you're doing
yeah,
with
it's
eggs.
the same. It was the
Yeah.
same. I was
See,
like,
you really were doing it this time.
No, but
yeah.
in my defense, I was kind of hoping there's a few other people who were
You were
jumping
trying.
in
You were
too.
hoping. You were hella charitable, and I love you.
Yeah.
No, there's nothing wrong with that, man. But like the same time, somebody like him, like he's not in it for truth, man. He's just in it to win. He wants to win the argument, and he's like, honestly, what I heard, or at least just the beginning of, he's starting to reduce it to absurdity. The argument. He wants to admit, how do you know what truth is? Okay, but how do you know that's true? And how do you define that? And how do you and like just it just keeps going till the fucking thing is like where nobody knows what the fuck we're talking about. You know, it's reduction to absurdity. That's what he was trying to.
The one thing I
As
was
soon
thinking
as I,
about
as
too.
soon as I finish, listen. As soon as I finished entertaining his counter question to my initial question, his response was, "You're dishonest. Get the fuck out."
Yeah. Yeah.
The one thing I was thinking about too is like if you've got somebody who's already established member of the server versus some anti-flat Earth troll who follows us around. Like eggs will follow you around server to server to server, saying exactly the same shit. You know, there's a little bit less clarity there than someone who, hey, this guy's been on the server for years. Let's see what he has to say, and he ends up with like, you're dishonest.
So
Okay,
we
I'll
heard
hold you to your worldview then. If that's your worldview and you can't hold yourself to it, I'll help you hold you to your worldview. You don't need to talk. You don't need to ask questions at all. You can sit on mute until you fix your shit and then come back.
So check this out. We got Hitman Guppy in here, whom yesterday was claiming that you could see curvature from 7,000 feet up, which that was absurd because of course, everybody that's a globalist knows that that's not true, but yet he was hanging on to this like it was like the gold truth. So and then he came in here talking about like how he's going to prove gravity, but he just dropped a wiki or something in the chat and said, "There it is. You guys read. Now I want to talk about what I want to talk about." Fuck that, dude. He's just acting like, "Hey, man, I'm gonna do what I want in this room. What's up, man?" No, hell no. Fuck that, dude. You're just gonna like listen to what we gotta say because we're asking questions, simple ones. It should be anyway for you guys. All you gotta do is respond. Just respond. If you know the answer, just say you know. If not, I can sit there and wait till somebody does. It's pretty easy, guys.
I mean, I suppose this is the last time we're going to ask this question. What is the sound argument for the doctrine of universal gravitation?
Well, they can read the text, a story. They can even memorize it and regurgitate it, but that doesn't mean they understand what it's saying.
Mm-hmm. And I'll add this. Please grasp this. This is a truism. Listen, people who come up in here with all that contempt and indignation and belligerence, claiming that they know so much and so well and we're so woefully mistaken, should not have to be explained to them that proof doesn't equal persuasion. I'm sick and tired of explaining that. Knock it off. Stop asking me what will persuade me. That is not the fucking standard. You people should know better.
Agreed.
Yeah. There was a key word you used, which I didn't know it actually exists in the English language. And I'm pretty sure that guy has no clue what it means. And that word was flagrantly.
Let's where is he at? Did he run?
Can you repost it too? Because the chat's like getting blown up.
I'm gonna switch topics a little bit. We're asking them about gravity, but they clearly don't know. Hitman, I just unmuted you. Go ahead and present evidence that you could see curvature at 7,000 feet.
I'm sorry. Before you say that,
Yeah, go ahead.
I should have been said this about this confusion with
You know
persuasion
the
and
terms
proof.
of the
If you
debates?
make
I'll bring my
me,
empirical evidence, you bring yours, and we have the debate.
All right, go ahead, Greg.
if you make me, listen to this. If you make me, right, my persuasion the standard, because that's what you people keep appealing to. Well, if you're not persuaded, then there's no point in engaging the argument. As though to say, by implication, it stands to reason that when you say that, if you can't persuade me, then there's no point in you attempting to give an argument, right? And if there's no point in attempting to give an argument, then it kind of stands to reason that you made me the standard, and since you can't pass the standard that is making me persuaded, then your position is false. You have no idea how self-defeating that is, but it is.
True.
Imagine if that was a standard.
If you make me the standard, whether I'm persuaded or not, you're not gonna win. You're not gonna pass. You're not even gonna pass with close flying colors. You don't want to do that.
All right, let me unmute Hitman. Go ahead, Hitman. Whatever
You know
elevation
the
can we see?
standards. I'll bring
see
my empirical evidence, you bring yours, and we'll have the debate. That's the standard I work with.
You want me to bring empirical evidence of the globe?
Yes.
What the fuck is wrong with you,
No,
dude?
of your model, of your flat Earth.
I
If you
don't
want
have
to
a
debate
model.
it, whatever you believe.
No.
So we have no empirical evidence.
Your belief is
Why
at
can't you
7,000.
why can't you
I
produce
have
empirical
empirical evidence.
Yeah.
Already
Your
did
belief-
multiple
empirical
times.
evidence?
Shut
Hitman.
up. Me and the big boys are talking. So
Hitman.
mayhem. I'll bring empirical evidence. You bring yours, and we have the debate.
I understand.
It's
Listen,
pretty simple.
you proposed yesterday that you could see curvature at 7,000 feet.
Yes, I
Is that
already
not
posted a
correct?
video, but that's not the discussion. You're again moving
Yeah.
the standards. It's
No,
pretty
the
simple.
standard-
Let's
the
have the
standard is-
debate with the core. You bring
The
your
core-
Doesn't he
empirical
sound like a
evidence,
Muslim?
and I'll bring my empirical
Doesn't he
evidence.
sound like he has the
broken.
same fervence and ardor like a Muslim?
Did you say the
He's-
How
core?
dare we contradict the dogmas of fundamentalist scientism? How the fuck dare we?
So you gotta shake his head. He keeps saying the same thing over and over again.
Did he say
Mm.
core? Did I hear him correctly? Did he say core?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Let's talk about the core.
Core of the
Yeah, the
argument.
core.
That's what he
Yeah,
meant.
the core's busted,
Okay.
bro. That
Where'd he
ball
go?
is broken from
Oh,
the
he left.
inside
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
He
man. He gave
No,
up.
I mean, because yesterday he was on it and he dropped a video, 7,000 feet. You can see the curvature of the Earth. I don't know if any globalist that would agree with him, but what I was gonna do was put him on blast. I was gonna say, is there any globalist in the house that agrees with him at 7,000 feet? You can see the Earth's curvature. I'd like to hear how many people would say, yeah, man, he's right, or how many people would say, no, that's incorrect. You can't do that. So,
I'm not going to refrain
I
from
like
pointing
to
out
see
this
it
this comparison, because these are the same people that just abhor religion supposedly, and they're not religious and but they just express themselves with so much contempt and indignation, just like someone being angry, just like a Muslim being angry at an unbeliever or a heretic. This is a religion among all the other religions of the world.
Yeah.
it's a religion, but they don't perceive it as it is.
Let men like
They
him
have-
be an example of that.
It's all the hallmarks of one. So
Stop taking for granted their erroneous categorizations and terminology. They don't have it right. They don't have it fixed right.
What does that have to do with Islam?
It's actually the only religion which is the enemy of natural science.
he was using
I
an
agree with that.
analogy. Smoke a
They don't have the preconditions for knowledge whatsoever, let alone empirical inquiry.
Hey, Gregory, could I ask you a question? Is it true that heliocentrism is the only religion that describes Earth as a sphere?
Heliocentrism?
That's not a matter of the Earth being a sphere.
Or just
No.
globe?
That's a
Heliocentrism.
spiritual. That's a category error. When you're looking at science in the physical natural world, but also using spirituality or philosophy to adjudicate that,
Yeah.
you're inside a category error. It's a logical
he's-
fallacy.
You're using the lens of heliocentrism to look through. It's kind of the cart before the horse thing. You're
Yeah,
implying that
it's one of the integral cosmological notions within a worldview.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I answered the way I did is because I'm just being strict with the terms. Heliocentrism, right? The sun is the center. Now, the Earth could be whatever shape it wants to. Whatever is moving around the Earth, be it the Earth or not, could be whatever shape, a sphere or not, moving around the sun. That's just what heliocentrism means.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
All right, we're gonna open up the question back to the room, and it seems like we're coming up null here. So nobody has the answer for scientific evidence for gravity. And let's see who else we got that's on mute. Coil. Remember, guys, just keep it cool, man. Because if not, back on mute. Let's see. All right, Patricia Steer. There we go. Scientific evidence for the gravity that you think exists on the globe. Anybody can chime in. Floor is yours. If
I
you
hope
don't
you also
know,
notice this pattern. We don't respond with heat and hostility if folks come up to us with some acrite, like Blennon. Take Blennon, for instance. He came to us with some acrite. Come to us with some acrite, and you won't get hostility from me, at least from me.
What's act right?
acting right. acting right.
No
It's just
decency.
basically.
Oh,
Yeah,
act
it's-
right. Oh,
yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, he's not. He's
What's
not hip.
acrite? What is
He's
that?
not hip. Yeah. That
Better
just
be
shows me,
accurate.
Beasticles, that you need to get a little more hip, man.
I'm
That's
sorry,
all.
I don't know how to come with that. I don't know how to
Hey,
come to
man.
you with that, Gregory. I don't know what the hell it is.
I'm learning every day, bro.
Hit him up.
I
Hit him
didn't
up with
think
that.
that was slang.
It's hilarious.
Sorry. Go ahead, guys.
No, you're fine, man. You're fine.
I guess I'm not coming to Gregory. I don't know what the hell acrite is.
Hit him up with that Obama voice, though, Gregory.
Oh boy.
It's like a
wants to know-
radar
He
station.
wants
Yes,
to know
we
what
can.
acrite is. He wants to know what acrite. You should tell him in Obama's
You
voice.
know, when you come to us with hostility and antipathy and animosity, that's going to make me respond with quite a bit of hostility. But
Right, he does a good Obama.
I believe we can have a good and edifying discussion, and God bless America.
Shit.
Pretty good.
You gotta love it, man. All right, who else is in there?
I'm curious to put together one of these globers face to face with a agricultural tractor driver. I'm curious what will come out of there.
Get. You're always in left field, bro. I'm listening to you, but it's like, what the fuck? I mean,
That must
it
be
might
a
be coherent.
Romanian expression or something. That,
I
that
mean,
went
I
right
know
over
how
my
you got
head.
it worked out in your head and that, but then when it comes out, it's just like, what the fuck?
You see,
Anyway,
these,
I get what you're saying though. Like, how would they deal with
yeah,
the
these
physical and natural
tractor
world?
drivers, they deal with vast surfaces of land.
But
They
I
plow them, they put seeds,
yeah,
they
because
have
I've been
fuel
exposed to these
consumption.
guys
Yeah,
for such a long time, I can
yeah.
even tell you the sophist response to that. Easy. I got it right. As soon as you
Uh,
said that, I was like, I know how to
Because there's
record.
patterns manifest.
Fuck,
Real.
they can
There's a
say
pattern of argumentation with the likes of these people.
Yeah, there is. That's why I know that the pattern they would probably use would be something like, well, don't you know that those tractors have GPS that work on a globe? Oh, you didn't know that, did you? I'm telling you. You think
Yeah,
you
but
think you're
they,
slick. You think you're slick with your flat earth points. Nah, that's not how you do it, man. I mean, like we said it before. Asking them the question and having them provide the evidence is the way to go. Now, when you give them point for
yeah,
point
correct.
discussion, you're gonna come up with like a debate. It will be a debate
Right.
when you say, okay, you got your globe earth points, I got my flat earth points, you got 10 minutes, I got 10 minutes. That's a debate. Then when you start like,
Yeah.
okay, let the audience decide, that's but when you're doing it in a way where you're like, okay, here's what we got. We got people saying the earth is a globe. We need some evidence. Anybody got some? And then they come forward with, okay, hollow earth. Oh, wait a minute, earth's concave. Wait, I know the earth's a globe. And then you like all this shit, right? So it's like, okay, now present how what everybody's being told at school is true. And so we're gonna, if they have any evidence, and then they come in, the first thing they do when they open their mic, what would you guys want for evidence? They're asking us like, well, the fucking truth, the evidence, like what are they saying? Like,
By
why
any
are
means they
saying the earth's a
can,
globe?
turn the tables
Yeah.
of scrutiny.
That's all we want to know. As we just like, what have they been telling you? How do you know the earth's a globe? What is the evidence behind it? Is it just a believable story? Hmm? I mean, it does have
yeah, for
embellishments.
them.
Go ahead,
You
Jeff.
know what's really funny is when they're like, "Oh, well, the Earth is so big," and then I'm like, "Well, how big is it?" And they're like, I'm like, "No, like, what is it? Like, give me the numbers here. Like, actually, it's really ironic that us flat earthers are actually the globe experts in that retrospect." So,
I mean, it's
fuck.
like this. Here's this comparison. I really appreciate this, right? You can best believe that the average fundamentalist scientist, especially in the United States, is some kind of former Christian, right? And so they were skeptical, right? They weren't bought in, right? They weren't catechized. They read the text, right? And they like, nah, or no, right? Now they
Yeah.
go affirm a different worldview. And now their worldview seems to be the big boy in the block. So much so that they start sounding like the former big boy that they left. Roman Catholic Church, for instance. We have God's truth, it's dogma, anathema to you who deny any of this and do not repent. Fundamentalist scientist effectively comes along and says the same thing. All the ridicule and contempt and indignation against people who don't believe and don't believe without question, or don't believe without asking the questions they don't like the doctrine that they teach. And then the very disgusting zealot commoners that think they know something but don't, just spewing their vitriol at anyone, not giving even anything that sounds remotely like an argument to people who they identify as being the disbelievers of their worldview, including their cosmic paradigm, including the doctrine about the surface of the earth. I'm sorry, I'm not going to not acknowledge that, especially in this server.
Dude,
I'm not
I've
sorry.
been in those situations. No, you're right on the money. Been in those same situations where they act just like that. It is, and they're like super, zealoty about it. It's just wow, right on the money, dude.
It's okay to call into question the clerics. It's okay to call into question the Pope and Archbishop and Cardinal and so, but it's not okay to call into question Dr. So-and-so, astrophysicist, physicist, theoretical physicist, blah, blah, blah. It's not okay to do that.
Yeah, you better not question Michio Kaku. What the fuck is his name? I can't pronounce his name.
Michio Kaku, yeah.
Yeah. Don't question him.
Bill Nye ain't
Like,
even Dr. So-and-so. He has a bachelor's or a master's in engineering. Sitting up here talking
Yeah.
to us about the cosmos.
Yep. What was
Anybody
it he
think that
said?
the Earth is a globe in here? And
He
if you
said,
do,
in
can you
my
support it?
field, we don't use the scientific method.
Mm-hmm. It's the seat of our
They
pants, you
go by
see.
We fly by the seat of our pants. It's leaps
It's
of logic.
guesswork.
It's
Leaps of
guesswork.
logic.
Yeah. Damn. Yep.
All right, you
Alright then,
guys.
so
Anybody in here
anybody
think that the Earth
So
is a globe? We keep
isn't
asking. All you got to do is open up your mic and tell us if you have any evidence. Earth globe, Earth glob. Anybody have that Earth glob evidence?
Earth glob evidence?
Yeah, Earth glob.
My glob.
So in other words, to conclude my point, they refuse to acknowledge the fact that we are their skeptic. Again, the sword of scrutiny swings in all directions, not just away from you, to whoever you don't like.
Bingo.
well it's bad because you don't want to believe the palm reader. It's like you don't believe a palm reader. They look at the stars and they say, "Oh, the world has an end. It's gonna be the great expansion, the great chill, or the sun will swallow the earth. The whole solar system." So you don't want to believe that.
You know, I saw this news clip.
Foretelling story.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
They are just like the palm readers, the witches. Guesswork.
I mean, technically, that's a very apropos
Yeah.
comparison, actually, because those
Yeah.
people, that category of occupation, let's call it that,
Yeah.
right? That is the arcane arts, right?
Yeah.
And then when you listen to them, it's a very small faction in human society that supposedly truly understands all this. It can really break it down, and little to no one
Yeah.
can explain it. And they're the ones that
You have
mastered
to
it,
be
and they're the ones
special.
that only have this small faction of humans. Only they have the means to attain this knowledge. all the funding and all the materials and all the devices and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Said the hell of fast, and I blah blah blah.
So Gregory, what led you to like believe the Earth is flat? Like, what was your journey?
So what happened with me? I was first introduced to quote unquote neo flat Earth, modern flat Earth, back in 2014, I believe, and it was from how do I phrase the sentence? It was from people that were trying to refute it, from people I learned from and trust.
Yeah.
A YouTube channel, YouTuber, uploader, WatchmanReports.com. They were talking about it from a perspective of being against it. That's how I was first introduced to it. Now, of course, it goes without saying, being in the state indoctrination system, euphemistically referred to as public school, right? Public education. That goes without saying. It's ridiculous. You live on a disc in a cosmic vacuum. That's no. So there was that, and then after that, I saw an upload from the truth. No. Stranger Than Fiction. There's the truth is Stranger Than Fiction, and then there's Stranger Than Fiction. So from Stranger Than Fiction, uploaded a video with this video footage closely examining the supposed space mission, footage, the ISS and also the moon landings, and pointing out glaring and flagrant discrepancies, which most people are not paying even half attention to the footage. They're just amazed and hypnotized. But when you turn that off and analytically take a look at the footage, there are glaring discrepancies, right? Shadows in different directions on the moon with the different rocks, which indicates various light sources rather than just the sun, supposedly, or humongous human heads in the background of the supposed spacewalk. Now, unless that's a humongous ass human with a white collar T-shirt in the humongous cosmic vacuum, there's a proportion discrepancy here, right? We're not looking at someone supposedly really in the cosmic vacuum. We're looking at an illusion, right? And it was broken, or looking at bubbles in space, right? Or looking at wires on the supposed astronauts
Right.
floating around, et cetera, et cetera.
I've heard this stuff before from like space hoaxers, which is like also related to flat Earth. But how did that lead you to flat Earth?
Well, let me finish. So there's that. So I saw that upload, and then after that, started researching further, and then especially when it got down to doing these on the ground observations, and objects that are supposed to be obscured behind the non-transparent water that is supposedly curving around the ball are visible once you just zoom back in. So the horizon is not the supposed tangent point on the surface of a ball.
So you got like duped by like the old like 2015 Discord parlor trick gifs that the flat earthers were sharing with each other.
Okay, so you exposed yourself now, so obviously you don't accept these arguments. But regardless,
I totally do, and I get where that can sound condescending, but that's a real question.
No, it's a malformed question.
I mean, they're not tricks. I mean, there's plenty of
Well,
content
like
uploaded.
the one that you described with the horizon, like I'm sure Miggy's got a GIF that he could post right now with like a boat being zoomed in on, right? Miggy, can you get one of those for us real quick?
Unless I misinterpreted you, are you
I don't
negating?
have it. I'm not. I don't have those saved on my computer. You guys do.
Okay, listen. Let me.
I'm not negating.
So let me finish the reply. Right. So are you? I'm trying to interpret you correctly. Okay. So did you say that in disbelief and refutation, or were you just acknowledging what I was talking about?
I'm acknowledging what you were talking about.
Okay, I misinterpreted. Never mind. So yeah, there's that. Right.
That's why I asked Miggy to post an example of one of the GIFs I was referencing.
My bad. So there's that. So I'm looking at these folks with their arguments and their evidence that they're presenting. And of course, the heart of the matter is, do we detect the surface of the Earth to be a topographical sphere or not? And if we don't detect curvature of the surface of the Earth, then it necessarily indicates, right, that it's not curving and therefore flat. And so I had enough sense, and I wasn't so emotionally attached to this doctrine that I couldn't just acknowledge that. Especially with with questions that have always sat in the back of my head, tickling me my entire life concerning the cosmos that I'm taught in school versus the cosmos that I'm taught in the Holy Scriptures, the Bible. So, and then sooner or later, push come to shove, you start listening to more debates, and you start seeing the responses and reactions from the globalists and the retorts, the supposed arguments from the globalists, and the educated so-called flat earther is holding his or her own in the debate, and I'm paying attention, and upon scrutiny, Bob's your uncle, here I am. So I am a skeptic, as it were, of the ACP, as I call it, or I'm a flat earther, right? I don't detect any curvature of the surface of the earth, so I cannot deceive myself into believing that I do. At least I'm not in the mood to, and I'd rather not.
Let's see if anything's sunk in.
You like the sense of community that you've gotten since you've joined the flat Earth community?
From some, not everyone, but some, plenty. More so yes than no. More so yes than no.
Do you like to go to the in real life gatherings that they do, like the upcoming
I can't afford that. It's nowhere near me.
Yeah, it's really expensive, that Flattoberfest. I'm gonna go.
I hope you enjoy.
I don't
The
think I'm
main
going to.
reason why it's
It
so
seems like it's gonna be
expensive
really
is
fucking
because of
boring. It's gonna be like
security.
a bunch of old ladies.
The main
Great, what was
problem security. The cost of security has gone up and up and up, and there's always those looming threats from globalists, like what happened in Denver.
What happened in Denver?
Yeah, there's repeated bomb threats. There's social media posts talking about going near the pole of Victory Royale. They constantly had to shut it down to do bomb dogs sweeps of the premise. And each time they do that, the price goes up and up and up.
All right. Do we have anybody else in here that wants to talk about the Earth? We got to get to the subject. Nobody wants to talk about.
I thought this was a fun
Elephant in the
subject.
room. No, we're actually controlling the topic. So
You don't want to talk about the flat earthers?
we want to talk about if there's any evidence for the globe. You got any, Patricia?
Yeah, I got loads.
Okay, give me one.
I don't feel like it.
Okay then.
I was asked to share the following message with the court. Remember, I'm only the messenger. What you choose to do with this information is up to you and your own free will. On October 4th at 2.
Another one talking about their feelings.
Okay. Moving right along. No information to gather from Patricia if there's any curvature of the Earth detected. So who else in here thinks the Earth's a globe? Come on, we're asking everybody, guys. Open up your mics.
So I might have one suggestion, right? Right, because what happens here over and over again is you guys are looking for a teacher, right? So if I could suggest night school or community college, and then you guys could get your education that way, because this way that you guys have thought of is really creative. Ask people about stuff that you don't understand because maybe school's kind of expensive, but I think
we don't want to hear it.
Yeah, that sounds like a gaslight to me.
That's Patricia.
I wasn't quite convinced he was being hostile with that, but I don't have the mute buttons.
Well,
No,
simply put,
he's a known asshole. I'm just letting you know.
Oh, is he?
Always, oh yeah, this guy here.
Yeah, that was a gaslight.
He's a character, man. So basically, the whole flat Earth thing, the Flattober, that's his that's one of his tools in his tool bag. He says that every day.
It really triggered him.
Is the $200 ticket guy
Yeah, but
flat
check it out. I'm saying this to clarify. A lot of people think they have a beat on Patricia Steer, the guy who's in here. This guy's a fucking troll. But we allow him to speak in here because he's not saying anything too bad. But once he starts getting into his little spiel, he gets cut off. He's not gonna get into his spiel. So for those of you who don't know, for those of you who know, he just sounds genuine and he's harmless. But I'll let him
Never
expose
giving
himself. How about
credit.
that? I'll
Yeah,
let him
never
expose himself.
giving credit.
Gave me that impression, so
Sure.
The main issue is that he first came in here swinging the big dick,
That
saying
was
that
an
we're all
amazingly inaccurate description
we're
of my
all
character.
LARPing.
How
Okay.
dare you?
It's okay.
He said he originally came here and said they were all LARPing. No one here's a flat earther. No one's a flat earther. They don't exist. They're only inside this Discord server. And people said, well, how about Oktoberfest or Flattoberfest? There's gonna be a whole convention of flat earthers. Are they all in on the conspiracy? And his mind cracked. Okay, it broke. It broke him, like his mind just shattered into 1,000 pieces. Because he said, if the globe is real, there is no flat earthers outside of people playing a gag on Discord. Once he realized,
that's funny. You know what that sounds similar to?
Who?
Sounds similar to folks like me refuting the atheists. There are no atheists. Right? The
oh,
God
yeah,
is real and revealed himself ubiquitously, so there are no atheists.
Well, yeah, but this guy, he's a character though. Like he is. I unmute him for because we don't like to leave people on mute. But if there was a way to like expose his character so that everybody knows, I'd let him do it himself because he's done it
I mean,
multiple
that's another
times.
comparison I can make now. I didn't even know that. I didn't even know the globalists argued like that, but I'm not too surprised. So there are globalists out here that believe, right, that strongly believe this psychological and epistemological notion that so as long as the Earth really is a humongous sphere flying around in a cosmic vacuum, there are really no flat earthers. It's just a big joke among them all. Wow. All right.
I would imagine at some point he's gonna cross over the TOS violations and kind of boot himself. I would just give him enough rope. He's gonna hang himself at some point. It'll happen.
yeah, he's right properly triggered, which is why he should take his own advice and go to a college classroom, at least an orientation. If you go to college orientation, they will tell you you have to respect people's identities, or they'll call security and escort you out the premise. So he should go in there and talk about how much he hates flat earthers, and watch him be like, yeah, you can't talk that way. This is a safe space for learning. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Day one, he would be disqualified if he acted like even a fraction of the way he acted here. But here he's given a lot of leeway because it's not a safe space. It's not a college campus.
Nope.
So
Here's another comparison. The way you just acknowledged that they talk about the university, but of course for the fundamentalist scientist, what substitutes the seminary or the church house or the chapel, right, or the cathedral is the university halls.
yeah, it's interesting where it's like they got to the point where you can question everything and nothing at the same time.
I mean, they have so much trust in this faction of specialists and experts, the same way that a new catechumen has in the clerics before them. The same thing. Well, those Christians are lying, but not the fundamentalist scientists. They don't have ill intent. They don't lie. They don't deceive. They don't cheat.
All right. So other than Patricia Steer, is there anybody else that has evidence for the Earth being a globe?
Well, Patricia will once he feels like it, he has to get motivated.
I mean, speaking of professors, let me post this. To whoever wants to consider, this is a now deceased doctoral university graduate professional, right? Dr. Greg L. Bonson. I'm sure some of you recognize me saying his name before, and he said this in one of his lectures, I believe at a university, in one of the auditoriums of a university, not just elsewhere. What professors won't tell you. Now, the thing is, this may have been in the 90s or late 80s, but it's still all the more chill yet and still. All the more true yet and still. Take a look at what university graduate professionals, including doctoral graduates, are saying about the sacred and reverential, worthy adulation doctors of the various universities. especially the fundamentalist, scientist, atheistic, agnostic type universities.
Yeah, it's a lot about witchcraft.
I mean, the critiques from the non-Christian doctors, specialists, they stand and critique against the.
Did we lose Gregory?
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah, cut out.
I think Rupert Cow's asking Gregory, were you born religious? I don't know what the Rupert, get on your open up your mic, bro. What's this? Type it in chat like people are monitoring chat. Some people aren't monitoring chat, bro. Just open up your mic. Rupert Cow.
He's a chimpanzee.
It was kind of off topic. I was just going to ask him whether he was like born into a religious family or, you know, it was something he learned later.
I'll let him answer. When he gets back, I don't know if he's here.
Good evening and welcome.
What up, man? I think we have any much more than the few in here that love to hate us every day. We come in here for that. Other than that, we don't really have the.
I don't think I hate you.
No. That's not what I meant. Love to hate flat Earth.
It is Wednesday.
It's like a
It's been that
scapegoat.
going on.
That's like that. That's gonna be like, well, it's Wednesday. Fuck it.
It's a scapegoat position. It's like they want to say flat earthers are to blame for all of the ills of society. And
who says that?
Oh, just wait around. Wait around for a little while. You'll hear it again.
Rupert Cow. We charge him with that. He said it. Nah, you didn't say it. I mean, you gotta admit though, nobody's come forth with
I
any
think there's
evidence.
good and bad people on both sides, to be honest. You know, we all have our.
I don't disagree with that. But like what we're asking for though is pretty blatant, man. Do you think as somebody had some evidence of the curvature of the earth, axial rotation, gas pressure without a container, all these arguments that are like fundamental pillars for the earth being a globe, they should have great demonstrations to follow them up, but they don't. All we have is excuses, people bringing in theories and ideas, and when asked, is reality real? Well, of course not. You know, it's like we get nowhere. I want somebody to say, I know the earth is a globe and I can prove it to you geometrically. And that's good. It's a good. I don't want somebody to open up their mic and say, well, I believe in hollow earth. Fuck, dude. Like, that's going to get us nowhere fast. We want to talk to somebody who thinks the earth is a globe and they can support it with evidence. Pretty easy. And it should be easy, right? I mean, 2023, guys, we have the advent of technology. We should be able to do something. LiDAR, for God's sakes.
Oh
I
wait,
think there's it's
so
from my
LiDAR
position. I think
scanning
there is
is
evidence,
not.
but you won't accept it.
No,
That's all.
that don't.
Yep.
All right, go ahead and present your evidence, Rupert. There's nobody talking right now, so just go ahead and present what you got.
I can't present all the evidence. It's like an entirety of things. Even just twilight, lighting up the
That's
atmosphere.
fine. Listen, what can lead us to the knowledge that the earth is a globe? I'm gonna be a little bit more relaxed right now.
Looking at both sides, really. Like,
no,
you know,
looking at
informing
the globe,
yourself,
Rupert.
spending time in these conversations and listening to others. You know, hearing your opinion on their position.
It's not an
like,
opinion. It's
there's
an
two roads
assessment.
for me. There's two roads for me, Miggy. One road has every answer for every question that I can have, and one road tells me I'm a retard for asking any question.
No, if one listen, okay, so one paradigm, the Earth is a globe. The other one, the Earth is flat and stationary, right? Okay, so give me the reasoning for you to understand that that is really what's going on versus what we know to be true. As in, we don't detect motion, and we know that the Earth is not curving anywhere. So, that being the case, how do you reconcile a moving sphere? Like what evidence do you have? I'm asking you, man. Like Rupert,
pendulums for the movement.
All right, now justify how that is.
That's what I mean. You understand all these arguments, Miggy. I don't know.
But I want you
what
to,
it's going to help you having the same
Rupert,
argument with me.
I know, but I want people to listen to because like we got listeners now on YouTube and such. So people are listening to you tell everybody how it works. Now, I'm not saying that I haven't had that argument, and with me and you, probably we already did it, but they don't know that. They think you're actually providing some good evidence, and I'm not going to allow you to say it. So
I don't think people are going to these sort of situations for information on this.
and what do
I
you think
think
they're
if
going
someone
there
wants
for?
to learn about how a pendulum works, they're going to look up how a pendulum works. I don't think they're going to learn it in this place.
So that means you're not able to give it in
I know
a
I'm
way.
not. I am not. I'm not able to give it a
All right.
justified explanation.
So you're just saying, trust me, bro.
No,
Yeah,
I trust them.
I thought you said. Wait a
I
second.
mean,
You said
I
you were
trust
coming from
them.
the point where you had all the answers. Now you're lost
No, I've
again.
never said that. I've never said that.
About
you said that
45
the globe
seconds
Earth,
ago, you did.
the globe Earth
Yeah,
gives
I
all
said
the
he has two
globe Earth
paths.
gives all the the globe Earth gives all the reasoning to support why reality operates in a way that it does. Something to that effect.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
you, Rupert.
it'll always have an answer. It'll always give
Yeah,
me an
that's
answer
what
for
you
the
said.
question that I have.
That's what you said. Yeah,
That's
but
what I
it's
find valuable in it.
Yeah, how about
what
evidence?
explanations?
Not
No,
circular reasoning, hot dog.
but that's explanations, though. I mean, anybody could give you
Yeah.
that, right?
That's like
Like
trying
it's
to
just
AI.
let's say for example, if I conjured up a cosmology that gives everything an explanation, but however if it sounds absurd to you, it doesn't really matter. The only thing that matters is that it becomes a believable story. So if I say the center of the earth has a small universe inside of it, you don't know that, but it's been discovered that scientists understand now that the pull of gravity was all done because there was a small universe in the center of the earth, which then is the reason why that universe was pulling on this one and making it seem like that's what people thought about their old theories of gravity were relating to. But upon further investigation, they now know that a small universe exists within inside the earth, which is actually making all of the gravitational field forces act upon the earth and you and everything else. So if we do something like that and create a believable story that attaches itself to physics, right? And then we can say, well, check it out. And how do I solidify that? By saying, well, I have things that are heavy and I can drop them in the medium of air. And then it looks like that what you see is the effect of the gravitational field produced by this universe, because it has been acting upon the earth ever since ancient times. And that's how mass was attracted to mass, because this universe was acting like pulling matter together and covering itself like a shell. So if I did that and I gave you even further mathematical equations to support that, how can I then solidify that in the really is level or the physical natural world? Like, it's not
Well,
real.
I
I
understand
sold
that
you a story.
I can't physically verify a lot of things that I am told things. I can't. I understand that.
But
I
that's the
can't physically
position
verify the moon.
Rupert, but that's what we're in right now. So we everybody, not just you, right? But everybody in this room. I would say
But
nobody's an astronaut. They don't. People are gonna lie to me, but no one's an astronaut. Nobody's can say the things that they're claiming they've done. So everybody else that's in here is just a believer, if
but
they are or aren't.
I've talked to people that have been to like Antarctica, have
Yeah.
been to the South Pole.
Oh, the South Pole. Here we go.
Yeah, but what? But what?
Do I not?
But what?
Should I not accept that they've been to the South Pole?
Well,
Wait, which part?
there is a
Depending which South Pole he's talking about,
there
because
is a
there's 5 of them, and
yeah, there's
there are fictional South Poles that are made up on map projections, and then there is the magnetic phenomena that is called the magnetic South Pole and that kind of stuff. So there is phenomena that is identified and labeled South Pole, and then there is the fantasy side of it, which is the bottom of the ball, or the spinning, the actual spinning point.
So basically,
I
yeah.
thought
So
there was only
basically,
two:
it's a
true
location.
south and magnetic south.
Yeah, no, Rupert, it's a location. Like when they talk about South Pole in the way that they do, they're using examples of a fixed location that you can go and visit that's got an actual red and white pole that says South Pole on it. And to you, in your mind, you think it's a geographical location that's in the center of the bottom of that ball. So to you, that
But
makes sense in your mind.
I accept that geographical location. Not just
There,
because
there is
not
there
just
is a
because he
geographical
tells me that
south.
he's been
Listen,
there.
there is a geographical location that is labeled the South Pole, like a spot that you can go follow the map and you can go there, and that is the geographical South Pole. But that doesn't mean is the bottom of the ball. It's claimed to be, right? But it's not necessarily that in reality, because it's based on a geographical location in a map, in a projection that is a ball projection.
I'm not comparing it to bottom of the ball or whatever you're talking about. I'm just saying that I accept the South Pole, and these are the reasons why I
Which
accept
one?
the
Which
South
South Pole? There's 5 of them, bro. Which one you
There's 2
accept?
of them.
There's
Rupert.
5 of them.
I accept both of them.
Rupert, in order for you to have a pole on the bottom of a ball, you're going to first have to have Earth surface curvature.
Exactly. Yep.
Well, but I mean, like,
Dude,
no,
I'm just trying to go through my formulation of how
Yes,
I
you're
accept
trying
evidence.
to,
That's
you're
all.
trying at all costs to stay within your reification loop.
You're
It's
just trying
quite
to
clear.
turn me into trying to prove curvature to you. I
no,
know
no.
I
Listen,
can't
listen.
Well,
prove
you're the one
curvature
talking
Rupert.
about a
you.
South Pole, sir.
Rupert,
You're the one
we're
claiming a
identifying
pole.
we're identifying the issues right now, and like you even said, like there's no way that I can verify the grand claim that they're saying. However, I will agree with everybody when they start talking about the South Pole and what everybody understands it to be. Like the people say, okay, you travel this way and that way, you're gonna see this red and white pole, and it says South Pole, and that geographical location where you can go and take a picture with that is the South Pole. And so, like, maybe you agree
Maybe.
with that, but it's not the fact that, like Jemsy was saying, or the other ways that it could be described as the South Pole, having 5 different descriptions of where it is or what the South Pole is, and then moving off into, like, because here's the thing, right? Everybody's confused. They want to stay clinging to the ball theory, the globe Earth, but they don't know how to, like, how can I reconcile the fact that there's so many contradictions? Well, I'll just have to be a believer in whatever they say. Whatever explanation comes forward, I'll just believe it. That's fine, so long as I don't have to leave and join this other group. Like for you, I think mostly it's like this niche group that believes that science is incorrect, and a bunch of people that hate to admit what reality is and all of that, because you're in a religion. You have no basis on reality to state that the earth exists in reality. So when we're asking for that, you say there's no way I can support that. We know, because you are in a religion. So all you
Miggy,
got to do is realize that there is no evidence to support the case for the earth actually being a globe. Do you know what I mean, Rupert? That's why we do the things that we
Yeah,
do
it's
here.
you're doing the same to me. I'm saying that I believe in evidence, and you're saying no, that is evidence shouldn't be believed.
Evidence as in belief?
The evidence I accept, like the South Pole.
What geographical
Which one?
location you can go and visit? Right? Hey,
Yes.
I'm just
The
I'm just
magnetic
telling
South
you,
Pole.
the magnetic south. Now that's
The
different.
magnetic South Pole
That's
and the
different.
geographical South Pole are different
They're
locations.
different.
Hundreds of miles
Do
separated
you
by hundreds
accept
of
either
miles.
of them? Do you accept either of them?
Well, there is a geographical position that
It's a
you can
pretty
follow the
simple
map.
answer.
Listen. Yeah, it's pretty simple. The magnetic South Pole is a location that changes location, and then the geographical is one on the map that you follow the map and get to that location. It's a geographical on the map, and then there is a position on the map that you follow and go there. That's the geographical one.
Did you know that, Rupert?
Yeah,
yeah.
I know. I know the
Miggy,
two.
Miggy, did you hear him when he said that he admits that curvature of the earth cannot be measured?
I did not admit that. I said I cannot prove to you curvature of the earth. I
Yeah, okay.
cannot
So
prove to
what?
you curvature of the earth.
Yeah,
No,
okay.
that's
I
fine.
want to ask you something. In geometry, what and when are the cases when you cannot measure the curvature of an object?
I'm very sure that they have measured the curvature of Earth.
No, I asked what and when are the cases in
This guy doesn't know what
geometry
he's talking about.
when curvature cannot be measured of an
This guy
object.
has no idea what the fuck he's talking about. This is not an intelligent conversation. We're all apes.
What guy? What guy are you talking about? Which guy?
Oh, I'm talking about a lot of guys right now.
Yeah, Rupert's dug
Can
a
you be
hole.
specific?
Dug a hole, let him flounder in it.
Yeah, I see what's going on here pretty
I'm
well.
just trying to have an
You
honest
see
conversation.
or you
That's all.
listen? Because I don't think you can see what's going on. You can probably hear what's going on, but you can see what's going on. I mean, come on, bro.
All right. So just to clarify with Rupert, he's just believing currently right now that the Earth is a globe, and he doesn't need evidence that the Earth is curving. He needs to only believe it strongly.
Yeah, I
And that's
believe
okay.
in scientific consensus. The
You
current
believe
mainstream idea. I believe in it. Yeah.
Scientific consensus. What's that? Does that thing has a number or an email address I can write to them?
Yeah.
Well,
I just don't think you
scientifically different than-
motherfuckers can comprehend a sphere. All right, I think you're.
It sounds like you're projecting.
I think you were poisoned
It's an
or
oblate
dropped on your head
spheroid.
as a child.
I
You
think them being flat earthers, they've thought about a sphere more than all of
You
us.
definitely had something that was
let this guy
poisonous
talk,
and
Rupert.
affected your brain growth.
All right.
if
So
you
have
can't
thank you
comprehend.
for that. Thank you for that. Now we need you to provide evidence for the Earth being a globe. Go ahead, sir.
Well, from our perspective, boys, all right, I think it's flat. All right, but that's just my opinion. In reality, all right.
So
Just
how are
nothing
they
moves, though.
getting away? How are they getting away from saying that the Earth is a globe when there is no evidence? How can they say that? Do you think that it's okay for people to say the Earth's a globe without any evidence?
Well, ultimately, the evidence is very hard to understand.
In what way?
Because the only
The way
evidence.
that he doesn't even understand it himself, and he's just saying you guys don't get it, but he doesn't
No,
get it
it's
himself.
not.
No.
It's
The
not a
evidence is
matter
in
of
the
understanding
stars.
it.
All right, the evidence is in the stars, and you gotta be a fucking nerd to study that shit. And I'm not the fucking nerd.
Yeah, you guys are too dumb. You guys are too dumb for this
No,
stuff.
Okay, so
dude,
the evidence.
if you
The
watch
stars are
the
a
stars
deception
at
tool.
night, you will actually get a sense of what the world is doing. All right?
Okay,
You guys are
so
not
yeah,
smart enough
all
to
right,
get this stuff. Come on,
let's go.
guys.
Let's go with half.
Oh,
He's saying
you
that
got
all you gotta do is look at the stars. So apparently, there's nerds out there that know that if they look at the stars, they can tell you exactly the geometric shape of the Earth. Is that what I'm
Yeah.
getting from you, half?
Exactly.
Okay, so let's just think about this logically. In what way looking at stars can tell you the geometric shape of the thing you're standing on? Just want you
It's
to
a
think about that just
reflection.
for a second.
The reflection, bro.
The reflection. Okay, what is being reflected? Don't
If
Globers,
if
don't
you
help him.
had X-ray vision, all right, in
Mhm.
a way, you'd be able to like see the what's it called? What's the word for him?
I don't know.
Through the stars,
No,
No,
don't guess for him.
Superman.
Don't get just let him.
I can't think of the word. Continents, I think it is. You'd be able to see the
Ah,
continents under like the stars. I don't know which stars line up to the continents, but yeah, yeah, you can definitely tell.
He doesn't
All
know,
right.
but he's gonna tell you guys you don't
The
know.
ancients, dude.
Okay.
Dude, the history is lost, but the ancients they knew which star pointed towards what capital city. That's like the old way of
The
navigation.
ancients didn't believe in the globe either. You know that, right?
Yeah, that's why they use the stars. That dude.
So they knew stuff that you don't know, and you're a globe believer, but they weren't globe believers, and they
Dude,
knew
I already
all this
told
stuff,
you
huh?
from our experience, it looks like it's flat, dude. I'm not. You want to have some ego game? I'm telling you the truth.
Yeah, you said
motherfucker.
you were clarifying that there's some nerds out there that can tell you that the Earth is a globe by looking at the stars with reflection and seeing continents. That's what you said, right? If I heard you correctly?
No, no, you
No,
didn't.
you didn't say that. Okay, well,
No,
so can
it's
you?
way cooler. It's way cooler
way
to think
cooler.
that we really are in like a first person like realm. You know,
Okay,
it's way
so
cool.
what does that mean in regards to the Earth's shape being a globe, sir?
Well, it is a globe, yeah. It is.
Okay,
yeah.
yeah, I know, but by looking at the stars, how can we know that the Earth is a globe, sir?
Because it never fucking ends.
It never ends. Okay, so here let me wrap this up. So, in order for us to know what the Earth is, we're going to look at the stars and then deduce that it never ends. Therefore, the Earth's geometry is an oblate spheroid.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Bingo.
Bingo, bingo, bango, bongo. Okay, gotcha.
Bingo.
You got it.
It makes entire sense, dude.
Yeah, I get you, man. I get you.
It is
That is the
nonsense. It is
logical
nonsense,
explanation.
but it makes sense.
It's nonsense, but it does. It really does. Makes sense.
It really does make sense. I know you understood.
So
Yeah,
if
it's nonsense, but it
I
makes
look
sense.
at
Yeah.
the stars, if I look at the stars and they tell me that the Earth is a globe, then if I look at the clouds, what do they tell me about the Earth? Do they say the same thing?
You can make cotton candy.
I don't know. I don't talk to clouds. I don't. I'm not. I'm not.
You
No,
go
I don't
above the
talk to
clouds, they're flat.
Yeah, you're all right. You're all right, Half. You're all right. I think you're all right, man. You're good. All right, so let's see if there's anybody else in here. So
Yeah,
the question is, go ahead.
Half, you did do a good job of bailing out Rupert.
Yeah, the Rupert. He's putting stuff on mute. He's all right.
Rupert's
Half's all
always
right.
jumping, trying to throw his jabs in, so he's gonna come back later.
But we
I
do
don't know.
want to ask
The Earth was a window.
I'm not
he will
looking
be
for a
licking
fight
it.
about these topics. I like hearing a discussion.
Rupert, you're all right, man. All right, so we're gonna ask the question to the room. If anybody has any evidence for the Earth being a globe, you guys can chime in at any time. If you have any evidence, that is, let's like Half brought his evidence, guys. So you heard it. And if you have your evidence too, if you think it's evidence, bring it forward. We want to hear it.
We let you even call us silly.
That doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
Half J, he said that we're just dumb. We don't get it. We don't get it because we have to be nerds
We're
to be able to get it.
Yeah.
I mean, Gabbigat is a nerd, right, Gabbigat?
Oh my God, no.
Well, Gabbigat is as nerd as you can get, actually. So there you go. What's your argument now?
No,
If you had a
no,
nerd
Jensen,
and you
thank
added
you.
another nerd, you'd get beget. That'd be two nerds in one.
If you get if you get a nerd and get another nerd, you get Gabbigat.
That,
You guys are 10 times above me.
I don't know about that.
I'm the
I
small
don't know
one.
about that. We're like ropes on the Goodyear blimp to you, man. You're just like floating so high above us with your knowledge. I'm just kidding.
No,
Oh shit! I'm just kidding.
I'm not expert, but I do have this gift feeling, like for empiricism.
Okay.
And as I was a student in environmental engineering, that's an engineering of the engineering world. So you have to learn all the engineerings, at least the general side.
Let me ask.
So
Also, he
Yeah.
speaks multiple languages. I can hack computers in multiple languages and code. So yeah, he's as nerd as you can get.
He's a smart guy. All right, so we're gonna ask the question again because we got new people jumping in. If anybody has any evidence for the Earth's sphericity, or as it is as a globe, go ahead and open up your mics and let's have a discussion. We want to know what evidence you bring forward to validate the Earth rotundity. So, if you do have that information, please open up your mics. Say what's up. Anybody?
please chime in.
Yes. I hear you breathing. Is that you breathing? Oh. Self-evident. I like that word, Jenna.
That guy Rupert was interesting. I questioned to him, like, in geometry, when you can't measure the curvature of an object, what is it then? What's the case when you cannot measure the curvature? It's only when that object doesn't have a curvature. That's the simple answer.
Let's see, I'll start naming some people in here. I don't know who else is up for a talk here, but we got Amish up at the very top. Trollhammer, he's a Trollhammer. Aurora, thank you so much for giving us this space here. She's in the chat. Big Ahoy is in the chat. Crits, definitely looks like. Egomaniac, TOS UK. Dude, you just named yourself Egomaniac. Elijah's in the house. Flav's in here. FE Batman, what's up, homie? From Australia. FE Jedi, he's a giant in the arena. We got Flat Water is also another giant, but he's deafened at the moment. Freakachu is in the house. Get Big Get. Half. I don't want to see the other name. Instabot's deafened. Jenna Massey. What's going, Jenna?
What makes them
Kay's
giants?
I'll tell you in a minute. Manufactorum, what's up, man? Mark's in the house. Mark J's in the house.
Are they giving us money? What's going on?
I'm
What
here.
are you talking
Old
about?
Hoss
Like
Rathborn.
gods. Why
Did
are
I-
you? You're an ego pumper. You pump.
Shh, quiet.
Listen to this one.
Let me finish and then you can open up your mic. Old House Rathborn, what's up, man? Patricia Steers listening in, but muted. Pie's in the house. Resolve, what's up, man? Sasha. Old Sasha's in the house. You know what he's all about. Slow Mo Buggy's in the house. Smoke Oregano. TY. Under Heaven Earther, what's up? Nah, that guy's a giant too. All right, we got WV Blue. Zeno's in the house. Got some questions for the Flat Earthers. Zen Owl's in here. And the Illegal, what's up, dude? I remember you. And the little cat guy at the very bottom. If you guys want to chime in, we're talking about the shape of the Earth conversation. How is the Earth a globe? How has it been measured to be a globe? Axial rotation or gas pressure without a container? Go ahead, guys. Have you? Go ahead.
I love all the family members with FE from Flat Earth.
Are you like stuck in a game show or something? Like what the actual fuck is wrong with you? And also, why do you ego pump like all the names in here? You're crazy, dude. Like you're fucking cuckoo.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that.
Projecting.
You done? Half?
I don't
Get
even
it up-
think you listen,
Did you
bro.
get it all out?
I really don't think you listen at all.
No, I didn't listen to you because you're full of shit. So don't listen to me.
What are you talking
Half
about?
Jew, I mean half Jay, why are you LARPing, bro? Like your LARP is pretty weak.
What LARP? Blarp.
Yeah, you're LARPing, you're acting like a character in a cartoon.
Has anyone heard anything about the emergency alert system test that's happening in like 5 minutes in the US?
No. What's
Yes,
going
sir.
on?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard like a bunch of different ideas about it. I don't know. I was just
wanna
curious to
strangle
see what people had
the shit
heard.
out of you. Shut the fuck up. Fuck off.
No, don't
Go
listen to that guy.
find a water hole to drown.
Quiet you. Sorry, Fox.
Fucking faded.
Yeah, apologies. Sorry, I just figured this would be a community of people that might have like been a little bit more tapped into things that other people hadn't heard.
Yeah, that guy was.
Thank you for
he's
the
not a part of
reminder.
it. So don't worry about that guy. But yeah, I haven't heard about that. That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, there's like people
Yeah,
saying it's like the thing that's gonna like activate the microchips in the vaccine, and there's people saying it's gonna like break everybody's phones, and like I don't know. It's always interesting
People
hearing
just making
people
shit
talk.
up. They're just doing future fallacies. They're saying in the future this is gonna happen and it's gonna change the world forever. They're just making stuff up.
Yeah, but this is why I think this stuff is really interesting because it's not so much like what they believe is going to happen, right? Because you're right. It's like, projecting forward in a way that they don't really have evidence for. But then it's when you ask them like what that belief is predicated on and like the chain of reasoning that gets them there. I think that when people are going around kind of like proselytizing that stuff, if they're evangelizing it, they obviously believe it with a degree of certainty. And I'm always really curious to see what angle convinced them, like what was salient, what was sticky, because you usually see like trends or clusters in terms of like what's going to be convincing to people. And I find
Like
that
other
it maps so much
times
to
that
different domains.
this emergency system have been tested, it's gonna happen the same thing. They're gonna test it, and then the test is gonna be over, and that's it. And people are gonna stop talking about it.
No, right,
Just like
right. But
the
that's
other thing.
that's not
Fox,
the
check this out.
interesting part.
Yeah, check this out. There's something that I've heard of before in the crypto arena. Buy the hype and sell the news. What's happening right now is everybody's hyped up about something that's going on, and that's bringing a lot of attention. Whether or not it's going to do what everybody's claiming, these theories, ideas of what it could happen, no one knows. But once it's done, or once it's when it goes through, people are just not going to care about it in the next 5 minutes. They'll be like,
Yes.
oh, yeah. So it's
Yeah.
like Y2K. Remember Y2K?
Yes.
Everything's going to
Oh
crash
God.
and world's ending. And remember 2012? Remember that? Like that was a whole
Yes.
thing.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
There's another
it's like it's
side of
more
it.
than that
People are
though.
making revenues for getting views. So they're like, oh my goodness, something is gonna happen. Just watch my video, and obviously it's
video.
No,
just
no, no, but
like
this is where
watch my
it
video
gets really
stuff.
interesting though, because it's not just like that these, because you're right. We see this happen with these things, but the reason what I find really interesting is, if when you get people to explain what it was that like convinced them, or like why they got so freaked out, or why they whatever.
There it is. There it
There
is.
is.
They got her.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Well, it's
They
not
did the
happening in my spot because there's a bunch of devices here. I haven't heard it yet in where
Are
I'm
the
at.
chips
So
activated?
maybe
press the OK button. It's over.
Yeah.
Fuck.
No, but the reason it's interesting is because when people explain what convinced them, then it usually maps on something similar, like a similar train of logic or a similar argument for a different but similar thing will usually convince them next time. So that's the prediction, right? Is what's going to convince people, what's going to be the next Y2K that gets people riled up. And that's when you can actually kind of use it or kind of get some functional meaning from it. But yeah, I don't know. People get so worked up about things in really strange ways, but
Yeah, I
they do
wouldn't say
see trends.
I wouldn't say don't worry, because like I guess people here in this arena, we're more on the really is level, like what are things are actually real and what are not, and the hype that everybody brings about is not real. Like asteroids killing the Earth, and like it's all a lot. We're running out of resources. We're at like our minds are attacked with a lot of psychological warfare like that. So we're based on people who are critically and logically thinking about things, as in like how can this really take place over the logistically, like how can that be something that
Yeah,
happens like that.
but that's why in my mind, and maybe I'm totally off base, but my thinking is this seems to be a community of people who um ask questions, engage with information, or kind of like poke their thoughts a little bit more than other people. I think a lot of people, if they see like an information claim or they hear about something like this, they'll either just completely dismiss it, or they're gonna like kind of interact with it, right? And I think people who are kind of challenging their assumptions, or like trying to kind of poke things with a stick, usually are willing to engage with things that like are a little bit more outside of the mainstream circulation. So they see things that other people don't, or they like might come across something, even if they're not, even if they see it for what
Right.
it is, they might have a better kind of
we have what is known as problem reaction solution, right? And it's something constructed within how like you might want to call mainstream narratives, or like whatever it is being told to us on the news. Like when something takes place, first of all you have to have the problem, right? And then you gather the reaction from the people, and then the same people offer the solution to that problem that's been had. So what happens is you have everybody getting worked up about what's going to happen, what's not going to happen, but who are the ones going to bring the saviors of this? And it's going to be the ones who actually propagated the information in the first place. So if it was them or whatever, they'd be the heroes to come swoop in and say like, no, don't worry about it, guys, we have everything under control because we're monitoring and whatever, but it could lead to us to like we're on the verge of nuclear war, we're running out of resources, this army's attacking us, whatever it is. They are controlling that information, and it gets to our minds. Like we build up in our minds some kind of idea of like destruction and death, and like we make it more than what it actually was, and you just seen for yourself it was just an alert. But
No,
after the
yeah,
alert,
but wait though. This is kind of the thing that gets me thinking, because I think when it's the people take it one step too far, they abstract it, but there's like an interesting aspect that I think has a level of validity, because in doing it, right, the moment it went off in this thing, right, it went off, we heard it in like a bunch of different people's things. It's a universal, wherever you are, you hear it in all the people around you. It's very small but effective because it's oh, it's
Not
just a test. It's not.
universal. It's not happening in South America. It's
No,
not
I know.
happening
I'm
in
saying
Mexico.
within
It's
the
not
place that it's
happening in
happening. Oh, for
Antarctica.
fuck's
It's
sake.
happening only in a small
Yes,
area
I
of
know.
the
Within
world.
the place that it's happening in a way that makes you aware of the fact that you are connected in a way that everybody else is connected. It makes you aware, but you like brush it off because like, oh, it's a test, whatever. But it also indicates to you in a very clear way that you are part of a network that somebody has access to, that there is a way that you are like linked into something that you might not necessarily think of on that scale. It's
What
like
about people that have no cell phones? The people that don't use cell phones.
of course I'm not
Are
making
they
absolute
connected?
universal claims. What I'm saying is if you're
You
in a
said it
restaurant.
is universal.
Okay,
So you're
listen to what I'm
saying it
saying.
is, but it's
Listen,
not.
even if you don't have a cell phone, if you're outside around people, the fact that it goes off around everyone, I'm not saying for every single
Not
person every single
everyone.
time. Okay. All right, I'm saying nothing.
No, the
You
position
it's
you need
absolute
to
claims
take
though, and there has
on
to be
this.
just some pushback because you're making this absolute claim that it is
No, I'm
everywhere,
not.
it's
I
for
wasn't
everyone.
phrasing my words particularly carefully because I was being a little bit colloquial. You're correct. I could have been a little bit more like clear or specific, but I wasn't
That's why I
trying to
was
be
trying to say
particular.
it.
I get it. I understand what you're saying. I'm not making an absolute universal, but that's also part of it though, right? Is that it even goes a little bit beyond a lot of the usual cases that would opt you out, right? So it's I think that again, I'm not making any kind of like absolute broad or like causal claim or anything. I'm purely saying that I think for a lot of people the fact of observing something like that, and we see it with like even with them like Amber Alerts or something, but when you see something that like happens in that way, it's a very subtle reminder that you probably don't a lot of people don't think about in that dimension, but I think it absolutely
Well,
could
let me
be.
tell you this. I've been in the Caribbean, right, in Puerto Rico, and we've been over there when a Category 4 hurricane comes and hits the whole island. That's when you see people when you see that is coming, and people have had similar experiences and they know what's coming. There's gonna be no water, no food for weeks. Then you see the realist level when people actually get together cohesively working together to at least be ready for a real emergency.
Yeah,
This is
oh, okay,
just a
no, that's not what I'm
test,
talking
that is
about.
not a
That's not what I'm
real
talking about.
emergency that is
Yeah, no,
well, you're
that's not what
talking
I'm talking
about
about.
the universal behavior of people getting
No,
connected and together
no,
working together
no,
towards
no. Let me try again and be
but
more clear with my words. When the people make claims that take things a step too far in terms of saying like, oh, there's some nefarious plot or there's this is going to do this thing. The fact that this test is going to happen is going to have some
the same
effect.
thing with the storms and the emergencies. They say similar stuff as well, but not everyone is saying what you're saying. Some people are. Some other people are just okay. There's a test, totally fine. Just it's not the first time that these tests happen.
What do you
I mean,
think
there's
I'm
these have
saying?
happened before.
Wait, what do you think? What do you think I'm saying?
You're saying that that everyone thinks it's a conspiracy and something bad is
No,
gonna happen, but
no,
not everyone thinks like that.
no, I'm saying the opposite. Hang on, let me try one more time and just let me get through the whole thing. I think a lot of people see these things as related to these big kind of grander conspiracy narratives.
Oh, it's a mechanism for control,
Oh my God.
right?
Let me finish the claim, then
Isn't that
respond. I'll try and be succinct. Instead of looking at this from a conspiracy perspective, and also instead of rejecting any notion of anything having any impact at all, I'm saying maybe potentially there is a way in which this does have some impact, maybe not intentionally, maybe not on a big scale, but I'm asking questions maybe I'll do it that way. I'm wondering
Subjectively.
what might the effects be of experiencing something like this test? Because to me, when I think about it and I think about how that might play out, I think that if a lot of people are in public spaces where something goes off on everybody's phone all at the same time and it just happens for a second, people don't really think about it. I'm not saying it's a big
It's
deal.
conditioning, some type of conditioning you're
No.
talking about.
Okay, maybe
You're
we can talk
saying
about it
you're
in that
saying a
way
lot of things, but you're not saying what you want to say.
because
Can
you
you be
won't
more
let me
specific
finish.
though?
Because you won't
Well,
let me get to the part that makes it make sense. It's the last sentence. I'm almost there. All I'm saying is the fact that people have this experience and it makes them in some way or some people a little bit aware of the fact that they are tapped into a system, that this system of communication does exist. That's the interesting part. You don't have to take it further than that. The fact that even on a small scale, it can kind of indicate to people that, oh, there is a system that does have the ability to reach into my phone at any second. That might make them think a little bit differently. It might make them more aware of
It's
some
called
things than they were
GPS.
before. I'm saying basically
GPS
nothing.
can
Oh,
reach
you're
your cell
saying
phone
nothing. Your whole
always.
point was to say nothing.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
You said it yourself. I'm just repeating, Fox. You said my whole point is nothing. You said that, right?
Hyperbolically saying I'm not making a big or spicy claim. All I'm saying is a thing happens and there might be some consequences for it.
Oh, okay. Nobody who's like, why you feel like the whole world's against you, or we
No,
we
just this
agree?
one dude. I'm sorry. I'm getting annoyed at this dude because he kept cutting me off, and it's stupid.
Yeah,
And I
we
honestly, I'm
agree.
just asking questions. I'm wondering, does this make any sense? Am I totally off
Yeah,
base here?
and I said it too when I was talking a little bit, and I know you were in the middle of. Hang on, Gibby. You were in the middle of saying it, but I said it before. It's just another mechanism of control. So if they have this alert system that it gets on everyone's phone, and whether or not you have a phone or not, if you're on somebody who does, it's another way that they're going to tell you, hey, this alert is going off. Pay attention. So it's a mechanism of control.
No,
So
no.
they're going
You're taking it. Wait. You're doing the thing. You're doing the
no,
thing.
the thing is
Conditioning.
the thing is this, right? If they have that much power to alert everybody for whatever reason, we don't, let's just say biochemical hazard, whatever it is, right? It could be anything, a missing child or whatever.
True. Yeah.
What they're doing though is tapping into the human psyche and making everybody aware of this one thing. It's a mechanism
Yeah.
of
That they have it. Right.
control.
Yeah.
It's a mechanism of
having
control. So
everybody alert.
I want to be careful there.
no, I am
because
too.
you're
But
attributing I think you're correct in a sense. I agree with you. I
yeah,
think that is part of the. I think I want to be careful because I don't want to take it a step too far in terms of
it's
attributing
not.
a.
It's not. I'm identifying exactly what it is. It is exactly what I'm saying it is. It's a mechanism of control. So
No,
if
and
they're
I'm agreeing.
if
And I'm saying, wait, I'm saying I want to be careful with my language because I think that if I say those words to some people, they will take that to mean a mechanism of control being maliciously
no, that's
utilized.
adding. That's
I know.
the
I'm saying
that's
this.
the
I'm saying
caveat.
people do add.
Well,
I'm
it
saying
doesn't
you're right. I'm
matter.
not
It doesn't
disagreeing with
matter
you.
because it's not what you're saying, Fox. If you're clarifying to them, I'm not saying it's a mechanism of like destruction. I'm saying it's just controlling the information. So if they're saying, I don't know,
Okay,
a terrorist
what I
attack.
should have said is in some situations with some people, I would probably take the time to add an extra sentence and indicate that I was trying to not indicate that thing. Like if they did try and make that extra step.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
know,
think they're
but
making that extra step.
in this arena, we speak the truth. So if the truth offends, it's I'm sorry, but it's just the way it is. If I say it's a mechanism of control and you can't see that, that's or you attribute it to something I didn't say, that's your fault, not mine. I'm only saying that
Whoa,
it's a
whoa, 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 whoa,
mechanism
whoa,
of
whoa.
control.
Hang on. You gotta do you really think that like it's if you say something and somebody else takes it the wrong way, that like you're just kind of like, well, that's your problem. Like that's
I
up to
didn't.
you now.
Yeah, no, I didn't state it in a way that they thought I said it. And if they want clarification, I can give it to them. But if they say that I'm misspoken by what I'm saying, then they're wrong because I'm exactly saying what I am saying. For you or anybody else to say that's incorrect, you're
No,
gonna
no,
have
no,
to
no.
state how
Wait.
that's
Hang on.
incorrect.
That's not what's gonna happen, though. That's not what happens. What
Well,
happens is you say it's a mechanism of control,
yeah.
and they hear it's a mechanism of control being maliciously utilized, and they think that's what you're saying. So they go, "Oh yeah, I agree with you." They don't say you're wrong. They say I agree. You think they interpreted it your way, and you both walk away, and now there was a miscommunication, and they think there's an evil cult.
Right, but who's
Yeah, but
who
that's
does
their
that?
problem because
Yeah.
if Mayhem is
No, it's
saying
my problem
something
because I
and
live in a
someone takes
democracy.
hey, it's if someone takes offense because he said something, that's their problem. They're the one taking offense, or there's a whole group right here of people in this chat, right? And he says something, and you think he said something else, or you think you said conspiracy, right? Whatever. Someone said someone agrees with Mayhem, other people don't agree with him. That's what's gonna happen, even on this sense of this emergency. Some people are gonna believe something about it, other people are gonna believe it's the aliens controlling you. and the other ones are gonna be like, it's an emergency that is, it's an emergency system that is being tested. Yeah, that's probably what it is. And other people is saying it's a conspiracy, malignant conspiracy of the overlords, whatever. So you're gonna have all those type of thinkings, but it still is gonna be what it is. It doesn't matter my opinion of yours.
It's
It's
just a
gonna be what it is.
mechanism.
Right.
It's
Wait.
a
Wait. No. What I'm
mechanism
saying.
of
What
control.
I'm saying, and I want to be careful with my words. What I'm saying is, what I think might happen is, you'll be in a room, hypothetical room, not this one. I'm not saying about here. You're in a room and you say, it's a mechanism of control, and there are
Yeah.
10 people in the room, and all 10 people go, "Oh yeah, you're right," and every
How do you
single
know that?
person
How
is
do you know
thinking
how
a
those
slightly.
10 people are gonna think the
I'm
same
saying
thing?
I'm
You don't
making
know
a
that.
hypothetical where that is true. I'm saying.
How can
That's
you
my
control for
mechanism.
that? How
Sorry,
can you
guys.
control for that? Yeah, go
That's
ahead,
my
Joey.
mechanism of control. That's my mute button. Seriously, guys, this is the craziest red herring I've heard for ages, and we haven't been speaking about flat Earth. If you want to entertain her, that's fine. I'll unmute her, but she's gone anyway. You seriously followed that? Oh my goodness.
Well, I mean, it does happen in here where people understand what we say, but we clarify. If they even ask any questions, we'll say, "No, this is what I mean." It's not hard. I think being a people pleaser is gonna screw the pooch in the end, because what's gonna happen is you're trying to, whoa, I gotta watch what I say. I can't say too many things. I gotta watch what I say. Then when the fuck are you gonna communicate what you think? You're never gonna get to the point where you're actually saying what you mean to say, because you're like, oh well, okay, who do we have in the room? Are you a Christian? Are you atheist? Okay, I gotta watch my words here. How? When it's a breakdown of communication. If you can say what it is, something is, and then somebody that shit's gonna happen either way. You can't control that. What the
No.
fuck? Like, if you say something, somebody in the room is gonna misinterpret what you said. That's just the nature of humanity, bro. You can't. There's no quality control for that. What the fuck? There isn't. Like, if there is, fucking tell me how, because it's like that means that you're divining everybody's thoughts. Okay, I know that person's gonna take me wrong. That one, I better watch what I say. No, just speak it like the way you know what to say. And if they misunderstand, you can say, like, "Hey, let me clarify," and then you just give the clarification. It's that simple. Like, wow, there's no way to control for that.
Nope. None whatsoever.
But that was
I mean,
interesting, though, that alert that we got. You guys
yeah,
over
no,
there in the UK didn't get it, did you?
no. The only thing that I got is everybody playing it through my bloody speaker, so I got it kind of.
We got the old Biden alert. Is everybody a zombie now? Did fucking buildings and planes crash and all this other shit? Like, what the fuck?
I think my
We
ship
don't.
got activated. I feel something. I feel something.
Are you activated now? Activated.
The sky is not falling.
Something happened somewhere. Well, I know what happened. Somebody came in here ranting about the alert. That's what happened.
We very rarely entertain any other conspiracy theories, and that went on for a while. So, yeah, I'm sorry I had to interject, but we could have been
Well,
here for another hour. Just
what was the
it's
top
not
conspiracy on the podcast?
that what she was saying. Well, wasn't saying, I guess.
We're turning into zombies or what?
Well, with the alert that just went off, that people could think that it's many different things, and she's really concerned of what this community thinks. And it's like, well, fuck. I mean, we're based on, critical thinking, logically consistent points. So if something's going to happen, it's gonna fucking happen. Like, there's no, oh man, well, we're all gonna be, our microchips are gonna be activated. Oh, and that's gonna cause an EMP destruction pulse and no electricity. You can't. That's fuck. That's your future. You're in the
You know,
future already. How the fuck do you know that's gonna happen? You don't. None of
you
that
know
shit.
this emergency system might be in place for whenever the alien invasion comes through, or there might be like an asteroid that is gonna fall in a few days. We might have an emergency, and then
Yeah, I already
then
got
eventually
mine.
we
Why
get an
did nothing
update.
happen?
Then we get an update saying, "Hey, NASA saved us. NASA saved humanity by destroying the asteroid or destroying the aliens that were coming to invade us." So thank you, NASA.
Yeah. Can you imagine the pride and, oh, dude, we got this alert that the aliens are gonna come out and get us, and then there's another alert saying, "We got them, boys." Oh,
We got it.
damn.
Don't worry. You're welcome.
So they weren't lying. It was a
So was
test.
I supposed to turn
Wow.
into a zombie or something? Like, what was supposed to happen?
Yeah, that. The lady came in here kind of panicking. Guys, do you know about this thing? And I was like, what happened? Oh, the alert's gonna happen, and people are saying that people are gonna turn into zombies or chips gonna be activated. I'm like, what the fuck?
Did you
I,
get
I
vaccinated?
like
think
the
my
way
chip got activated after I heard the noise.
I like the way she was really concerned
I got
about it. And
vaccinated. I'm feeling just fine. It's been almost 20 minutes. I don't know. I feel like
Just wait,
maybe
dude. You're
conspiracy
gonna be
theorists are full
activated
of
here in
shit.
just a little bit, Jettison. You'll
Did you
see.
put a magnet up against your arm just to check for
Oh,
sure?
hold on. Do I need like a charger or something? Because maybe like I'm just like
Maybe.
low on energy. Yeah.
Wait, you
I need to
don't
put it up my
you don't have
ass.
your magnet charged at all times? What's wrong with you, bro?
No, like they didn't give me any instructions. Like when I went and got the vaccine, like they didn't tell me what I'm supposed to do. Just
Can
keep
you guys
charged.
just stop that?
Your
Can you
nanobots are
just
probably
stop it?
dead by now, dude. You need to charge them up. It's gonna take like 30 hours, like on a magnet.
All right.
Oh, okay. So that's what I did wrong. Okay.
All we know that the testing worked because a lot of people received it.
Yeah, I got it. I think it was on my phone. But that's all it was, just an alert. Fucking, and then it tells you that they're gonna use it for all kinds of shit. It said so in the alert.
Do you think it's gonna work because remember in Hawaii when they had the alarms that they were supposed to use for fire, but they didn't use it for fire, so maybe this one is the same thing.
Oh, the same thing happened to Hawaii, right? I think it was like a false alert.
No, they didn't.
It was a false alert about a missile, and there was no missile, but everybody was freaking out.
Oh shit, dude, that would suck.
No, it did happen. Someone got fired. Someone needed to get fired for that.
Oh, I think I've seen that what you're talking about. But
Yeah, they
no,
said
this.
that North Korea
Well,
fired a missile at them.
in the U.S. law, it's the government has the obligation to do these alert tests. But what they are actually doing with this is testing to how many people they can reach instantly. So there are a few Americans that switched off these alert systems and they don't receive these signals and alerts, you know,
They're dumb.
and
They
they
missed
can
out on
see
this
that.
last one. It was the firmware update for 2010 Vision.
That's
I
all
haven't
right.
Yeah,
seen
they
it so
did this
far
in
right now.
Romania like
We can
the last year.
we can move
We
off this
had it.
topic. Actually, to be honest,
Yeah.
like it's kind of fucking boring. Like there's no.
So
Does anyone else not need glasses anymore?
I agree. The topic, the conspiracy is always changing, so it gets kind of boring.
Well, shit, I didn't know about it till she came in here. But anyway, all right, back to the topic. So we're talking about the shape of the Earth conversation here. If anybody has any evidence of the claim of the shape of the Earth being a globe, go ahead and open up your mic and present it. We'll listen.
Dime otra vez, mi amor. You gonna eat?
Anybody? Bueller?
Wait, I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. Can you repeat your statement?
Yeah. If anybody has any evidence for the shape of the Earth being a globe, geometric shape being an oblate spheroid, go ahead and open up your mic and let us know how they verified or we can falsify the shape of the Earth being an oblate spheroid.
My bad. The shape of the Earth or the lack of the shape, because I don't know if anybody can actually measure the whole thing. Probably the ones making it has a shape is they're just lying.
And this
Can
is a serious
anyone-
question.
You can take night classes online, right?
This
Can
is a serious
anyone-
question to you guys.
Can anyone substantiate the flat Earth theory?
Yeah, but see, we need the answer to that question because we're being told at school that's what it is, Jetson. So we want to know why they're telling everybody that it is a globe if it's not substantiated.
Right. It's a shame that you flunked that class. You should try taking it again.
All right, so then enlighten me, Patricia. How did they do it?
They pay people to educate you, bro.
Oh, you don't know. Well, sit down, dude.
No,
All
I
right,
know.
so-
I'm just
well, then
not
tell me.
gonna. I'm not gonna
Tell me.
provide you a free service.
Tell me. Tell me.
You gonna pay me?
No.
Hey, Crystal, check your
There
DM.
you go.
I'm gonna try to riz you up.
I don't know what that's about, but okay, Jettison, go ahead. If you have any
Wait,
evidence
what?
for the claim.
Flat Earther is. Flat Earther is, bro. It's gotta be the gayest
Flat
shit I've
Earther
heard in a
is,
minute.
bro.
I just can't deal with that one. I'm sorry.
That's okay, dude. You got a lot of cope in here. All right,
Yo,
so do you
yeah,
have
yo,
Hey,
yo, girl,
yo,
you
girl.
flat just like the Earth? Like,
you
I like
got
your picture.
evidence?
Say that.
Hmm. So, do you got any evidence of the shape of the Earth being a globe? Pico de Gio.
Yeah, we can
Go
look
ahead.
at relevant evidence if that's what
Come
you're
on,
interested
man.
in.
Like, nobody was answering anything. It was a joke. Relax, man.
I
It's a
know, but I'm
joke.
asking you right now something serious because you guys think it's a meme and you're snickering, but
I
honestly,
mean,
you
I'm
don't.
not laughing
No,
at
no.
your anything you're doing. I'm laughing at the joke, and I made a joke based on nothing you said. So I'm sorry, man.
Okay, then. Do you
I
have the
said I
answer?
apologize. I
Do you
apologize to you.
have the answer, sir? Is what I'm asking.
I mean,
Are
we
you
can
gonna
look at relative
are you gonna
evidence,
are you
right?
gonna accept my apology? Like I said, I'm sorry, man.
It doesn't. That stuff doesn't. I don't even care, to be honest.
I mean,
I
you
wasn't
muted
even
me, so
paying that
obviously
much
you care.
attention to it. I wasn't paying that. I just want to know the answer to the question. We're asking everybody who comes in here.
All right, man.
So
I'm sorry for making
either
you
you or
mad.
But I guess
Jettison.
it depends on the woman. I mean, you know, like maybe they've got like maybe their asses is round.
Oh my
No
goodness.
answer to it. It's simple. If you don't know, you can be ignorant and say, "Hey, you know what, man? I have no idea." But saying stupid shit that ain't gonna get you anywhere. Really isn't. That's up to you, though. I mean, you can bounce. It doesn't bother us. We're still gonna keep asking a question. People will still keep coming in here and still not giving us the answer. That's what it's what it's all
I
about.
feel like I don't have an answer for either side.
Oh, that's honest.
Yeah.
All right. So anybody else that might have an answer? Jettison, if you're serious, go ahead and open up your mic and tell us.
Yeah, so we can look
Go
at relative evidence if that's what you're interested in. I mean, there's
No,
plenty
I'm
of relative
interested.
evidence that points to the
Jettison.
Earth being round.
Jettison, I'm
But like every
interested
time
in
I try to,
Jettison. I'm interested in the direct measurement of surface curvature. Direct, sir, not relevant. Direct, meaning directly measured. That's what I
well,
want.
hold on, let me pose this question to you real quick. If you're not interested in relative evidence, if you're not interested in relative evidence, then I mean, it's like this, right? It's like cookies, right? Let's say like a batch of cookies.
Ball cookies or flat
Wait,
cookies?
dude, what? You can't just do that. Like you let
You
him
like sugar-free
let him say his
cookies,
piece.
kettle
Like you can't
cookies?
ask someone to speak and then
Sugar-free.
shut them the fuck up when you don't
So
like
here's how it
what they're
goes, right?
saying.
Here's how it goes. No,
What,
this
dude,
is
let him
how it goes.
speak. What are you doing?
Okay,
Are
so
these
you
cookies
need to
gluten-free?
have a seat. All right, so all it is simply this, right? The question of direct measurement of the Earth's curvature is on the table, gentlemen. And all I need you to do is answer the question. That's it. I don't need to hear about cookies, your mom, or anything else. I don't need to hear about girlfriends' butts or anything. I need to know the answer to the question: has the Earth been measured to have curvature? And by curvature, I mean elevation change, drop over distance, that sort of thing. And if you don't have an answer, sir, please mute up. I'll unmute you guys because I do want you guys to answer. I think it's fair. But stick to the topic. I don't want to hear anything else but that.
I mean,
and if you don't have it,
that's kind of rude, though, man. Like
that's
you
not
have to,
rude.
like if he has an example, you need to let him do the example.
I
and let him
will.
explain
I
it.
will.
But what you just
I
did
will.
is like you curtailed his speech. That's what you did.
I don't need to hear your belly aching, sir. I need to hear the answer. Go ahead, Jettison.
Okay, so as I was saying, you can just say that batch of cookies is there, but it definitely needed eggs, correct? It definitely needed it.
Okay. I guess Jettison doesn't know. So
You're saying his name
Back
wrong. It's Jetson, not Jettison.
I don't give a shit. Does it really
I mean,
matter?
obviously, no, kind of. Like, respect people, man, and like you'll get more people
Well,
that want to hear you
respect
and
is
listen to you.
earned, my good sir. It's not given. It's
So
earned.
what have you earned right now?
I've earned for you fucking to tell me if the Earth is a
mute
globe
me?
or not.
Like that's what you've earned?
All right,
Like,
stop
you're not earning
All right.
respect right now,
Are you
dog.
gonna
You're not.
bellyache or tell me the answer to the question?
I'd rather bellyache.
Okay, then you can sit on mute. Simple as that. You had your choice. I'd let you answer, but you said you want a bellyache, so sit on mute. Calm
Yeah,
down, relax. Somebody
apparently
will come in. Somebody will
the
come
guy
in and
had.
answer
Hold
for you.
on, Miggy. Hold on. Apparently, this guy's never had eggless cookies.
Yeah, but we don't
Vegan
want to talk about that.
cookies.
All right. I'm just pointing out that nobody has the answer, and these guys are demonstrating the fact that no one has the answer. Simple. You guys want to snicker and chuckle and do all kinds of things and writhe and bellyache and complain, but nobody has the fucking answer that I'm asking for. Interesting. Now, try again. Answer the question. Is there any measurement ever been done ever in history for the curvature of the Earth, as in drop over distance or elevation change? Please provide. Let me unmute the gentleman. That's all it takes, gentlemen. A little bit of order and also answering the question, please.
So, are you asking about elevation? Like, you're asking if
Change.
we've measured elevation.
Anyone, sir, not you. I'm not even asking if you have. I'm asking the question, has it ever been done ever in history?
Has anyone measured elevation?
Change.
Elevation change?
Yeah,
Like
let
how?
me describe. Let me describe. I'll give you a describe how what I mean. So from your point of observation to a target distance, and we could say anything from like 10 to 15 miles, whatever it is, 20 miles. From your point of observation to the target distance, will there be a drop over the distance? Because a drop over the distance would denote, especially on an oblate spheroid, that there's curvature. So from your point of observation to the target distance, there will be a dropping over the distance because you're on a ball of a specific set size of dimensions, meaning that the Earth is a radius of 3959, that circumference of 24,901 miles. You have to realize they gave us the size of the ball. It's public information. You could look it up. So I'm not just fucking saying these numbers. So if that is the case, gentlemen, how is it possible that anyone in history has ever measured that elevation change or the drop over the distance to any target anywhere on the Earth? Anybody?
Wait, why are you able to use relevant evidence, but I'm not?
Relevant evidence. I haven't demonstrated any evidence. I'm talking about
No,
anybody who's
you're
ever. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Question.
Yeah, no, you're saying that, like, you're saying all this stuff about elevation and like drop distance and all that. That's relative evidence. You're able to use
Relative
that, but
evidence.
I'm not.
No,
Because
this
you
is
told
okay.
me that you
I'll
just
tell you,
wanted me
Jetson.
to.
Listen. I said your name right this time. I'll tell you why. Because it's not our claim. The reason why I'm stating it this way is because according to the rhetoric, right? They're telling us we live on a spheroid with these dimensions that I just told you. So, according to those dimensions, not according to flat Earth like conversations. There's nothing to do with us. Has everything to do with what we're being told in academia. So when you go to school, they tell you the Earth's a globe, yada yada, solar system, and all that good stuff, right? But they don't tell you how to investigate how they figured it out. So the question I'm telling you guys is when they tell us that the Earth is of a set size of dimensions, there's no other caveat that they're saying, okay, and here's how you measure it. The stuff that they tell us how to measure it has no relation to the elevation change drop over the distance on a spheroid of the dimensions that they're telling us. However, there has been some math that people have put to it, so we understand that the dimensions, according to the math, lead us to know, according to the math, that the drop rate over the distance is 8 inches per mile squared, right? It's geometric. So we're going to figure out with some math, what is the drop over the distance to get to our target distance? So I gave you some arbitrary distances like 15, 20 miles or something, 10 miles. But for a 6-foot observer, from the elevation height of a 6-foot observer, we're going to try to figure out what is the actual drop over the distance from where I'm standing to the target distance, meaning how much of the sagittal or hump of Earth curve is in between me and the target distance so that I can't see the ship that disappears over the curve. Because according to globe rhetoric is that when a ship goes away from your position, you start to stop seeing it from the bottom up. So it goes beyond the curve. That's why you can't see the bottom of the boat, and then of course the top of the boat starts being obscured and so forth. I have an example, as a matter of fact, if you guys want to see what I'm talking about.
Okay, but you're still using the relative evidence. So like you're doing it right now. So why can't
Relative
we?
evidence. What do you mean relative evidence?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Like you went from talking about like the elevation miles squared and all that, and then
Mhm.
now you're talking about the boat thing over the curve. So why can't we use relative evidence if you're using relative evidence?
No, you can
Oh, and
look, listen, by
wait,
all
1 second. What
Go
I
ahead.
just want to say too. I don't care how you pronounce my name. Say it however you want.
Okay. But that being said,
Hello.
you can actually say exactly what I said and then pose it to me, but what I'm showing you is that this is the claim. I don't know if you knew this or not, Jetson. Did you know this? What I stated?
Yeah. So we can use relative evidence. Just confirming that we can use that.
Listen, they say that it's ships disappearing bottom up is evidence of the curve of the Earth. Isn't that what they tell all of us, right?
Okay.
Jetson? But do you agree that that's what they tell us? I don't want to, if you don't agree, then I need to know. You don't agree, that's not what they tell us.
Could you repeat that one more time?
The ships disappear on the horizon bottom up.
Well,
No,
I don't know if it's bottom up. I don't know exactly.
No,
It's
no,
like
we're not talking about
relative evidence being related to the surface of the earth. If you have something like that, then sure, Miggy will accept it.
why would Earth be
Yeah, that's
flat
what I
if
tried to
other
do.
planets
That's what I tried
are
to do in the first.
you know, not flat?
So you're
Yeah, that's what I
interrupting.
tried to do
If
in
you
the
can
first
just,
place.
what were you saying, sir?
Hold on, Exotic. We'll answer your question in a moment. We're on the Jetson right now. Did you have an answer?
Okay, so I was just yeah, so I've as far as ships go over the horizon, I'd assume that they believe that they disappear from the bottom up, because lower and then higher and then further distance. But you do realize like the cookies example was a hypothetical, right? Like I wasn't seriously talking about cookies.
I know,
I was
bro,
just
but
trying
like,
to point out
can
like
we
why
just
my relative evidence mattered.
Okay, but can we just stick to the point here? Because like I don't want to go to that example for the moment. Because
I
right
mean,
now
I am on the point.
what's in contention right now is this observation. And cookies aren't gonna solve it. So what's in contention is that people are standing at the beach and saying they're seeing a ship disappear from the bottom up due to the fact that the earth is getting in the way or obstructing their view from the bottom of that boat. Do you know that claim?
Well, yeah, I mean, how far
Okay.
can we see, right?
Well, that's the thing, right? So we're trying to figure out within the context of this conversation, what is the distance between my point of observation to where I start to see that ship disappear from the bottom up? What is the target distance for that happens? Do you know?
Where it begins to
Yeah,
disappear?
you could be honest. Yeah, I don't press you for answers, but if you don't know, just say I don't know. You don't have to sound like you know
So
it and
just
you don't.
just part of it disappearing, even if you
The
don't
bottom
notice it disappearing yet.
the bottom of the boat is obstructed, meaning that you can't see the bottom of the boat. Hang on a second. Okay, if you give me just one moment, I'll show you what I mean. I have an example, and I saved this so that I could use it as a demonstration. And the reason why is because it's important, especially in the framework of this this discussion. Okay, go ahead and see the chat right now, the 24/7 Flat Earth chat. I put it at 55 minutes after the hour. Do you see that GIF?
Yeah, I see. I just what am I look? It just looks like you're zooming in and out of a boat.
It's not flat Earth proof, by the way. Okay, this was one of the points that the Globers brought in a few years ago. They were using this. So what do you
Okay, but
think
what
is
does this
what
prove?
I'm gonna tell you right now. What do you think this is showing here, in your perspective? Because this was, like I said, it's not a flat earther that came up with this. So, what do you think this is showing us?
Someone zooming in and out of a boat?
Okay. And it does not show us that the boat is going behind the curvature of the Earth. Be honest, Judson.
Sorry, one
This
more
is
time.
your It is not a boat going behind the curvature of the Earth. It is or it is
Well,
not.
it's more of a GIF.
I
I
know,
mean,
I
you
know,
know it's
dude.
kind of like buggy, right? And
I
you're also
listen,
not taking
and
into
just based
account the
on because
waves.
it's not. I'll say it this way: it's not my. I didn't bring this in to like steel man my argument. It's not. What I'm showing you is that this is what's been showing to us about that phenomena where the ship disappears from the bottom up. So I'm just showing you this is what a Glober brought into an argument one time and said this is evidence of that. Can you not see the ship disappearing from the bottom up due to
It kind of
Earth
looks like
curvature?
he might be changing his elevation as he's taking the photographs. And
Okay.
like,
There's
what's the time difference between the photographs
listen,
being taken?
listen. If you're a skeptic about it, that's fine. I don't deny that, right? You can be a skeptic. I can tell you more about that. But what I'm trying to get to at the moment is to answer the question that we first started on. Who has ever measured the curvature of the Earth any time in history as an elevation change, drop over distance? And if not you, but anyone, right? And if that has been done, we need to know who the gentlemen or people were. And so we can identify them and figure out their either the primary source, like for who it is, citation, where it's been said, and a demonstration how it's been done. So we're
So
gonna find out the relevant
you're
information.
asking, so you're asking if anyone's ever measured the entire Earth.
No, sir. No, sir. No. That ship disappearing over that alleged curve right there that you see is not the entire Earth, is it, sir? So, what we're doing right now is demonstrating if it ever has been measured any time by anyone. And if you know, say you know. If not, say I don't know, which is intellectual
You're
honesty and
asking for the person or the
any
distance in which
any
it starts to
So,
curve.
what I'm asking for are specifics, of course. I'm asking for if you know, and if you do know, tell me I know, and followed up by, I'll give you the primary source, I'll give you the citation where it's been said, and I'll also give you the demonstration of how it's been done. And if you don't know, just say I don't know. It's simple, Jetson. It's you being
Oh,
intellectually
so you
honest or
want
not.
me to? Okay. So you want me to tell you? So I can tell you
If you
when the
know,
curvature is supposed to
no, no,
begin.
no. Okay, so hang on a second. If you know, then I will let you proceed. If you don't know, please say I don't know. If not, I will ask you more specific questions on how you know. It's up to you. You don't have to take this challenge. You really don't, because it's not on you. But if you do want to, it will be on you to answer.
Well, you see, the thing is that it's more of just confusing more than anything
It's
because I
not.
don't know what you're asking me.
I'm
Like, do you
asking
want me to
for
tell
once
you
again. I'll
when the?
restate. I'll be clear, Jetson. I promise. I will not confuse you. I want to be clear. I'm asking for, has anybody ever measured the curvature of the Earth ever in history, as in drop over distance or elevation change, as some people might say it is? Anyone ever done that?
They must have because we have the
Okay.
measurements.
Okay. Therefore, that needs to be followed up by, like the primary source, a citation and a demonstration.
So you want me to cite you the
The
sources and then
specifics.
demonstrate it myself?
Well, I need to know the primary source first. Who done it? Find out where it's been said that they've been done, and then followed up by the demonstration of how it's been done.
Oh, okay. So you want me to
Mhm.
cite my sources to tell you that the Earth is round?
No, I want you to provide evidence that somebody actually measured the curvature of the Earth, as in drop over distance. You know what I'm asking for now? I'm not putting
All
it
right.
on
So you
you,
want
is
me to
what I'm
go get
saying.
that for you real quick?
No, I want you to answer the question. Do you know right now or not? I don't want you to go get it. Go getting it denotes that you don't know right now. I want you to be honest.
Oh. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Okay. So yeah,
yeah.
no, I don't know who measured
Okay.
that because I don't have autism and I don't like obsess
Well, that's
over like
not.
every
Yeah, but
little.
you don't have to. You don't have to. You don't have to caveat to that. We don't need to know that other stuff. We just
I
need to
mean,
know if you have it or not.
like
That's all.
you
That's
want
all,
me to like
Jetson.
name the person
So
who
with
did it
No, sir.
and
No,
how
I
they
so
did
want
so
you
it?
to
with
be honest.
Like,
Listen, I just
everybody,
wanted you to be
so
honest in the
check
conversation to
this
say
out.
if you knew or not. That's it. If you don't
Check
know,
this
that's
out,
all.
Miggy.
Go ahead,
Check this
Elijah.
out. Everybody in the chat. I mean, maybe this will wake someone up. Maybe it won't. I don't know. But here's the thing. If I ask somebody who was the first president of the United States, everybody's going to give the same answer. Okay? It's at least it's at least in the rhetoric. Like you would know. Okay? Now, when we say, okay, who's measured the earth to be a sphere the size they claim? Like where do we see this on the water, since they say that all of these limitations happen over the water? And nobody fucking even knows what you're talking about. But they know who the first president of the United States was. Like, you tied with their hands behind their back, guns to their head, and told that their family will be murdered if they don't answer. Who was the first president? George Washington. Oh my God. Please be right. Of course it is. I've heard it a million times, right? But they have no fucking idea who measures the earth on a daily basis, monthly, whenever. Last week, last month, last year, ever at all.
Except
Because
most people say
they're what, too
Eratosthenes too.
retarded? You said what, too retarded to be focused on the propaganda
Autistic.
that you're fed? What
Too
was that?
autistic.
Except most people say Eratosthenes when asked who
Right.
first
No, we're
measured
not
the
asking you,
height of the
sir.
Earth.
We're not asking you, sir. We're not asking you. We're asking Jetson currently right now, who stated that he didn't have that information currently, which is respectable for anybody being
Right,
intellectually
because
honest.
the first president is like common knowledge. People
Once
don't
again,
like.
once again, I just want to stay on point, okay? Let's just keep it on point. I want to wrap this up, actually, to be honest. So, Jetson, if you didn't know that's great. Now we can move off to the second point. And if you
Right,
don't,
and now wait,
if
do
you
I
don't
get to
know,
ask a
there's
question now?
not in just a moment. You will. I promise that. I will, and I'm fair. I will let you ask questions, but you have to
Thank you.
answer the 3 questions that I'm going to give you, and fair enough. If you want to ask some questions afterwards, that's fine. I don't care. All right. Second question is, it's the same like the first, right? Has anybody ever measured axial rotation, the spin of the Earth? They're telling us that we're spinning around at about 1,000 miles per hour at the equator. This is the claim. Now, I want to know, has that ever been measured? How it's been measured? And if you know, like again, like the first, primary source, citation, and a demonstration of how they figured it out. And if you don't know, sir, just say I don't know. We'll go to the third.
Well, I assume they did, but I don't know who did it or how they did it.
Okay. Third question. The vacuum of space is said to reside adjacent to the pressure air that you and I breathe. According to everything we can understand from pressure here on the surface, we're breathing about 14 pounds per square inch at the surface. And as you go higher in elevation, there's a pressure gradient. We understand that, right? So we're trying to figure out, they're telling us in this open system that matter and energy can transfer back and forth through the Earth being a globe, being that it is an open system. So rockets can leave. You can put low Earth orbit satellites, rovers on Mars, examples on and on. So if that is true, that matter and energy can transfer back and forth through this open system, how is it possible? The question, how is it possible to have gas pressure without a container, as they tell us on the Earth? Do you know?
Oh, well, the atmosphere is the container.
Okay, so your answer is, and I would take it this way. If you know, I'll say it this way. If you know, I need a primary source, citation, and demonstration of the information.
So you need a source for the atmosphere being able to
Well,
maintain pressure.
you're saying atmosphere, but I want to know who said it. Primary source, then give me the citation where it's been said, and then also followed up by a demonstration of how it can be possible.
It's more of a generally accepted fact of the matter. Like, if you want information on the
Right.
atmosphere, I can link that.
Well, if you know, if you don't know, if you have to look it up, as in, I didn't know, but I have to. Do you know who's the one that figured that out, Jetson? Be honest.
No, I don't know who's the one who
Okay.
figured it out, but
So
it's
wouldn't
kind of
that be that?
irrelevant, isn't it?
Right. No, it's relevant because once again, if you don't know and you just believe, we're going based on a belief that you have and not knowledge that you know that you have.
Do you know that the Earth is flat?
Right, but I'll let you ask some questions afterwards, Jetson. I promise. I'm not going to say no to that. I will. People will in here engage you, but first we must get through this. So once again, you did not know. You just believe that somebody figured it out, right? Is that true?
Yeah, sure. I know someone
Okay.
figured it out.
Okay. No. You keep using the word no. You believe.
No, I know that someone figured it out.
Okay. Who figured it out, Jetson? Name the person.
Okay, so in order for
Name
me
the
to
person.
know that someone figured it out, I have to know their name.
You
Like
have
I
to
know
know
that
who,
the
you have to know the
television exists,
information.
but I don't
You
know
have to
who
know
invented.
if somebody would, like, I'll use the question that Elijah posed earlier. If somebody said, "Who's the first president of the United States?" and you say, "I know," and I ask you, "What's his name?" "I don't know." Then how do you know?
That's common knowledge, though. That's
Well,
common knowledge
then
versus
tell me.
like some
Then I need
intricate
you to tell me.
scientific
Then I need
stuff.
you to tell me who figured out that the atmosphere is containing the atmosphere with the atmosphere.
But that's not common knowledge. Like the president of
Oh,
the
it's
United
not
States is
common.
actually
So
apples
you
to
don't
is
know.
apples to
So is the correct
oranges.
answer? I need your concession. Is that the correct answer that you don't know? Just be honest.
I
You could
don't know
end this.
who. I don't know who. I don't know
Okay.
who
Okay. So
figured
you
it
don't
out,
know.
but I
So
know it's there.
I know you believe, sir. It's not no. It's believe.
Just like
You
I know
believe
the
it's there.
television exists, but I don't know who invented
No,
it.
no, 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 no. In this case, we're talking about how uh, gas pressure doesn't need a container. So you're saying that atmosphere contains atmosphere, and then I asked for who said that, and you said I don't know. I don't want to let this go. Either you know or you
The
don't know.
atmosphere is everything.
You know or you don't know, Jetson. We could end
I
this
know
by
that
you
the
saying you don't know,
atmosphere
sir.
exists.
Your pride is not allowing us to proceed. Do you understand that, right? You could easily say you don't know, and I will go to the next question, and you can ask all the questions you want.
Well, I thought this was the third question, though.
It is.
So
Okay,
just
so
one
we're
sec.
done. Right?
He's saying, oh, okay, that's commom knowledge. So the president says that's common knowledge, and then you go to, okay, this is not common knowledge. So wouldn't it be okay for you to say you don't know?
It would be okay.
Yeah, I'm saying I don't know who discovered it. I don't know who proved
Okay,
it.
so
But I
do
know
you
that there's an
know?
atmosphere.
I know that you think that the atmosphere is containing the atmosphere. I'm not asking for its existence. I'm saying what is holding the gas pressure that you and I are breathing into the earth, according to the globe. You said atmosphere is containing it. That was your answer.
Yeah.
Okay. Who said that, Jetson?
I don't know who said that. I've
Okay,
already
then
stated
that's my point, sir. So can we say that you just believe that somebody said that and move on?
Wait, so
Wait,
no
what?
one ever said it then?
I'm
Could I
asking you,
jump in here for
sir.
a minute?
1 second, guys. I'm asking you, sir. Either you believe or you know.
I know someone said it. I don't know who said it.
That means you don't know, sir.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Okay, then we're gonna go with you admitting that you just believe somebody said it.
Sure.
Okay. Therefore, let me just wrap up the 3 points because now that we've had your concession,
That only took 10 minutes.
yeah, it took a
Sorry.
while. So what
I
we're
know,
gonna
it's almost as if it's
just
incomprehensible.
relax, bro. Just relax. So basically, what you told me from the first question: how was the Earth curve measured by who has done it? Elevation change, drop over distance. That was I don't know. Second question: axial rotation, spin of the Earth. I don't know. Third question: I took a while, but you got there. You don't know either. You just believe. All right. So the Earth being a ball spinning in the vacuum of space is just a blind belief you carry currently. You don't know that it's true. You just believe that it is. And it works the same for anybody who I put through the 3 points that don't ever get through this. Therefore, now you understand you have a blind belief, but you can still ask any questions like I promised you to the group and see if they can answer any of your questions. So now that you've known that it's a blind belief, there you go.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you.
Yeah, go ahead and ask your
Yeah,
questions,
I do
Jetson.
know that I do know that the Earth is round due to relative evidence. Just because I can't name some scientists doesn't mean I don't know. So I would pose the question: do you guys believe that the sun and the moon are local, as in underneath a firmament?
You're still using the word no wrong, but anyway, you'll probably
What do you
never
mean
get
by
past that.
fuck? What do you mean by firmament?
Yeah, what you guys describe as a firmament, like the flat Earth
You guys,
theory states that
did you guys
yes, flat Earth
describe
is.
that? Did you
Did
describe
anybody
that,
said?
Jedi?
Did anybody
No,
said firmament to you from this group?
no, no,
Well, do you
no.
believe that there's a firmament?
No.
Okay, so you don't believe there's a firmament, but do you believe that the Earth is flat?
Yes.
I don't.
We
Yes.
understand. We understand it's
Okay, so I don't know if it changed or something, like the theory changed, but everywhere I've heard like about flat earthers theories is that there is a firmament above the Earth.
Maybe you need to stop to listen theories and to ask directly questions about why people, for example, here you are now here and you ask question. You spoke with somebody, let's say Migi or whatever, one person, and say, "Man, why you think it's that?" And then that person tell you why, and then you will find out